Beyond. Welcome to episode 73.
The Drunken Podcast.
Of the Drunken.
What do you do with a drunk Greg and Jeff Haynes?
What do you do with Drunken Sailor?
Episode 73 of Podcast Beyond.
Beyond?
As you can tell if you've been following previous ones.
Wait.
Oh, that's a disaster.
That is a disaster.
All
What's
right.
going on?
Oh, don't blame the opener.
There it goes. All right, so this is the Drunken Podcast Beyond.
Beyond!
We've been leading up to this one
Beyond?
for a while. This is the last episode of the year, so we figured,
It's about time.
yeah.
As if listeners remember, I read. I'm kind of drunk. I read a note that came
Greg
with a
is
bunch
gone.
of booze. A reader sent in mojitos for Ryan, Sam Adams,
Which I
Oktoberfest for
haven't
Jeff,
even
you
tasted
and me and Roper. And
Should I open this?
yes,
Yes,
you
you
should open
should.
them. And I can't remember the reader's name, and we lost the email during cleaning day. But he's already been named on the podcast. Go back, listen to former episodes. We are now drinking everything right now. Ryan was afraid he wouldn't like mojitos, so he brought in Smirnoff Ice, which looked
We
the
don't know
exact
why.
same consistency of mojitos.
Yeah.
Ryan
Ryan?
is
Looks like the same.
about
I've never had a mojito before.
one Smirnoff
Try it.
Ice and a fourth in. Jeff and I are through
Five and a quarter bottles into our Sam Adams
We've
Oktoberfest.
saved the last bottle here. We are finishing up the 12-pack. Ryan,
What do you think?
Ryan had a mojito. No?
It's all right.
Let me try.
What the hell?
I don't know that I've ever had one either.
Bacardi Mojito.
It's okay. I'm not saying that it's kind of weird.
I don't know. I don't like rum, so.
So
really?
everyone remembers last
Here,
podcast
you
we
want-
said we
you
would
want to try
pre-drink beforehand. Now that's what
No,
we did.
have
That's why
been pre-drinking.
Jeff
my
and I
friends.
are ready for this podcast.
Those guys are
Let's
ready.
do this.
As a little disclaimer here, I am not really drinking today because
I do not like the mojito.
Chris Roper is the designated podcaster.
So I get made fun of if I don't like it, and then Greg.
Well, I don't like I don't like
What's
lesser drinks than beer.
yeah.
not
So,
less-
so as,
I'm
as-
pretty
That's not
sure.
Wait, that's not a mojito.
That's bad.
Wait a
Jesus.
second. 5% alcohol. What's
Yeah.
that? What's that right there?
That says Brewer Patriot.
Okay.
Sam Adams
Let's
seasonal
see.
You know
brew.
what that is?
Let's find out.
That is like a mass market mojito. That's
I
not
believe
really
that
good.
in the U.S., if it's less than 5%, it doesn't have to say it.
Oh, that's
Sometimes
bad.
it does, but-
no, mojitos are not good.
But that no
Mojitos are good. This is not.
That is not a good mojito.
Bacardi Silver mojito
So-
are good.
That is horrible.
Technically speaking, the Smirnoff is stronger than the guys you were
So
things
time
you were
out.
drinking right
You
now.
are saying that Jeff and
I'm
I,
just
who have
saying.
each drank 5 beers apiece,
Yeah.
are not caught up to you,
We've-
and you're
we've taken
1
down-
and a third.
We've taken down
I'm
60
just
fluid
saying
ounces,
that-
my friend.
No. That's not what I'm saying at
I'll
all. You're
kill you.
misunderstanding. What
I
I'm saying,
I am.
You are misunderstanding. Here you
We
go.
will kill
what
you.
I said was that don't insult the drink because the drink is just as strong as your beer.
I didn't say anything about Smirnoff Ice.
No, you said it was a girly drink.
I did. Oh,
Yeah.
Oh, snap. Greg's beer is overflowing. It's all over.
I'm putting on my shoe. Don't worry. My
Here we
shoes are
go.
canvas. They'll accept it.
But to get back to my explanation for why I'm not drinking so much today is because
back to the show.
because I don't want to seem like I'm weak sauce, whatever. I've put down my things in the past, but
I can be the weak sauce goat.
Yeah, well,
you are.
I need to leave the office in about an hour to go, amongst other things, to go watch the kid. But also, she's sick. I have to take her to the doctor's.
Oh, no.
So since I'm leaving, just general flu or
You
whatever.
should have done what I did and not even tell your wife what you're doing today at the show.
I'm not gonna be driving my daughter to the doctor's and then crash.
Yeah, that's not
so,
good.
Yeah, so that's not
I'm
happening.
going to
So
tell
anyway,
Katie to download this episode.
but
So?
yeah.
Oh, when I get home, I'll tell her all about it. She got home late last night. I didn't want to worry her. Especially because I have a lot of things to write tonight.
Yeah.
Now that I'm not going to have a good, productive day.
Yeah. So let's, as crazy as this show is going to be, let's try to keep it going as per normal, which will then give contrast to how it normally goes.
Exactly.
So let's get right into the Roper Report.
Time for some news.
This is already going very well.
Wow.
So let's
The
see.
database people will kill us.
I don't care.
I'm not
Make it
nearly-
Sullivan. Bring it.
I'm not nearly that
There's a meeting going on right next to us. That's going to be pretty
There
good.
you should have known.
To hell with them.
Hey,
Well,
you know what? The podcast Beyond You, it didn't used to be here. We
I
didn't
know.
used to have the room here.
Well, Kevin Janiak's in there, so I'm sure he appreciates
Oh,
this.
he
he
knows
likes.
it.
He loves Beyond.
Beyond.
He
Beyond.
talks about it all the time. Beyond, Janiac, Beyond.
Beyond.
Maniac beyond.
So anyway, let's get on with this thing. So
Finally.
the news of today, some pretty big news, is that Ryan, let me ask you this
here
one
we go.
because you're a fan of home. You think that it's a
only-
worthy product, right?
Wait,
Or that-
I
that-
think it's what?
you think it's a worthy product. You think it has its merits at least.
It has its merits.
Okay,
yes.
let me ask you, why do you think that it's good?
I think it is good because I appreciate virtual spaces and what they offer in terms of communication between PlayStation.
Communication. So wait a minute. Communication meaning you can go on there and you can talk with other people.
Well,
I already spoiled the story for him.
I actually prefer typing, but
You
yeah.
prefer typing, but some people prefer to talk.
Yes, absolutely.
Unfortunately, they can't do that at home anymore.
What?
My
Mate!
God!
What?
What happened?
As there was a
Here's-
post
you know, I-
on
wait,
the,
you know, I
post on the
can't even-
PlayStation blog. Hold on, you can keep talking. If you
From
want.
1.03 to 1.04, which took about 6 hours overnight last night, they upgraded so people can now get on there, do their thing. However, to do their thing and not have these horrible connection errors, which we have all had, they now have to take out voice support.
Yeah, you can't talk on PlayStation
Yeah.
Home anymore.
That is
it's going to be
weak
coming back,
sauce.
they say, but right now you can't talk on PlayStation
No
Home.
timetable for its return.
You know what I think? I
What?
think that they were just surprised at how many people are being ridiculously inappropriate and
Well, they are stupid.
because they can't censor. You can't censor someone's.
How could you not see this coming?
Yeah, no kidding.
And Greg did it all beta. So I mean,
Yeah, it was the exact same
was there.
thing.
I'm just saying. I
There
wonder
weren't as many
if-
girls during the beta, so it was much easier.
I mean-
now it's much
Yeah,
fun
but
to chase that one chick.
Greg was constantly talking about how he was going to eat people's souls. I mean, how could you not see this
That's
coming?
fine.
Well, there's nothing wrong with that.
But I'm
No,
sure
there's nothing wrong with that.
I'm sure there's plenty
But
of vile language.
considering what I wrote about how you could always hear inappropriate things or even see them typed,
Yeah.
I mean, seriously, potential or no potential, which is kind of a weak excuse. Like, this is so
I do
obvious.
have a funny. Can I tell a funny home story?
Yeah,
As like
what's
a
this?
little
This is going to be the
segue?
longest podcast
Okay.
ever. Go.
Yeah, go. Here we go. So I was in home and I was talking to one of my friends. Now I'm a pretty polite guy, so I don't
No,
usually type out.
no, come on now.
I'm not.
Really?
I'm effing crazy.
The beer?
But I was typing out a message, and all I said to him is, "Hey, you can also text." Because we were talking, on our little Bluetooth, and it bleeped out the entire middle of my message, and we couldn't figure out why. And he was like, what are you typing?" And I said, I just said you can also text, and we kept typing it in, and it kept bleeping it out, and I was like, what's going on? It's because if you combine "can" and "also" and the last two and the first two letters of those words, I guess you get something that they consider inappropriate.
Anus.
Well, no, not quite.
Butthole. I don't know how to spell.
That's the
It's
Oktoberfest
A-N
talking.
from "can" and A-L from "also." And it
Anal.
Yes, thank
Much
you, Greg.
better.
I guess we can say that on the air, right?
I
It's a
see, yeah,
scientific
no,
term.
Anal?
yeah,
Seriously,
okay.
come
Yeah.
on,
See,
man.
that's pretty terrible.
They're all
word
like that.
recognition.
Yeah, but then again, they've also had things where people have gone "Merry Christmas" to friends, and it bleeps out Christ, and it's like, okay, I understand not being offensive, but seriously, if you
It
can't
has
say
problems.
"Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays" without getting holidays or Christmas bleeped out, what the hell's going on?
Yeah,
I'm
that's
not trying to be denominational or anything, but it's just what is this?
Home has problems. I never said home does not have problems. I just like the
You're the
parts that
savior
are
of
good.
home. Everyone else on the internet
Yeah.
has crapped on it. You
Yes,
saved
this is
it.
true.
And
And I think
you know
during a
what?
special segment, I'll bring this up.
Okay.
Exactly.
Because a liar?
No, it's
No,
not liar. No,
we
it's
will
not.
break out
It's a
the
different
special
special
segments.
segment. We've put a new one in the.
and I have
Hopper today.
I've got an idea for
The
no,
one
it's
too.
not. It's nothing against you.
Okay.
Except that many. It'll be fine.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'm excited.
Drink it.
I've got one idea for it too.
All right,
Wait,
getting on with the news.
I
More,
want to test that too. The champagne.
more stuff.
Hey, when the big boys finish their beer,
Exactly.
All right.
I'll let you men do your thing.
you got a bunch of mojitos.
I'll go fix my nail polish over here.
Why?
while
See, you're not even
finish
you
my-
like the Smirnoff Ice. You're not even drinking that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You want to tell a story about why you're not drinking?
Go get them.
You have to be in the right mood.
I have to be in the right mood to drink, and when I am in the right mood, when I'm ready to go, when I'm I am prepared to get completely hammered, when I say that to myself, I prefer doing shots.
Uh-huh.
So
What
right
kind of
now,
shots
I
you like
have,
to do?
yeah. Well,
tequila.
We will
Tequila.
get
See,
some
I
tequila.
can't stand tequila.
I'm
a whiskey fan.
We'll pull down some tequila
It's too bad that you don't believe me because I'm telling you, at the Christmas party, I had upwards of 10 drinks, including mostly shots and then screwdrivers, which is vodka.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, I was going, I was ready.
I think those
But
pictures were faked.
They were all staged.
I've
They were
already
posed.
said that I don't need to be in a mood. I could be at a parent's funeral. And
I
I
know.
would come drink with you.
Well, I
Boom.
appreciate that
And
sentiment.
you
rings
need
true.
the mood. Someone
anyway.
sent us terrible booze in your case from a faraway land of maybe
Yes.
Wisconsin.
And I
Here's-
really appreciate
see,
it.
here's
That
how it's always
the
been for me.
sentiment is great.
Here's how it's always been for me. If I get up and say it's a Saturday and I had been binge drinking on Friday and get up and I feel terrible,
Drink
and
more.
I don't feel
Hair of
like
the dog.
I don't feel like I'm in the mood to drink. You just drink 3 or 4. Just power through those first 3 or 4, and then all of a sudden you're in the mood.
Yeah.
Like you just got to start.
That's always what it is. Even
Get
if you're not
over the hump.
hungover, just
Doesn't
power.
work.
There's
Hair
many
of
tailgates
the
I'd wake
dog.
up and be like, I don't feel like drinking, but it was 7 in the morning.
Just get over
Hey,
the
just
hump.
go.
There is
Just
time
go.
on the clock, my friend. There is time to
There
drink.
you go.
Now-
Keg stand, go.
Let me say this right now. Podcast Beyond does not
Nope.
condone binge drinking
No,
No.
or anything of
come
this
on
not
matter.
even
now.
close.
Please drink responsibly.
Please.
Of course.
Bacardi
Well,
and cola.
you're practicing.
don't
You're not
crunk and
drinking
drive.
anything.
That's right. I got my.
Yeah, you're the
exactly.
designated podcast.
You've got
guy.
hot
I got
chocolate.
my hot chocolate.
Don't crunk and drive.
Yeah.
Don't
Yep.
crunk and drive?
So there you
Don't
go.
crunk and
All
drive.
right, all right.
Back to the news. SingStar gained the ability to play the PS2 games in the PS3 one.
Yay!
Eh.
You can't rip it to your hard drive, though.
No, it's getting on weak sauce. There are troubles afoot
What?
for multiple developers, publishers, all kinds of things these
What
days.
is
The
this?
last week has been filled with news of I don't know what's happening.
There's
maybe
a
all-
recession.
Maybe all these people are drunk and they're not doing their job. But,
Like us? No way.
Yeah. Factor 5, Free Radical, Midway, amongst others,
What is this?
are all having massive troubles.
With Factor 5 Sam Jump? I didn't hear this one.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, there's.
I've been out of the loop.
Yeah. So
Oh, no.
Factor 5, I remember correctly off the thing, they're saying
You
that
knew
about
about
half
this,
the
Greg.
staff was cut.
You're gone.
And, yeah.
You just you were like out loud before. You out loud.
No. We're
spoke this.
All right, we're catching up because a couple studios did close.
Yeah.
And I shouted out that Factor 5 did not close, even though I gave them a bad review for
They haven't
Lair,
closed.
And now they're
The-
going after Superman.
So the
In
last,
retaliation for Greg.
So the last
Spite
word
them.
that we have from them is that the studio. But remember, all this is kind of hazy because people are giving like semi-official
Haze.
things like,
Ha.
yeah,
Whoa.
is that Factor 5 is I think laid off about half the staff, and you know they went
That's so
down from
sad,
they
though.
went from like give or take about 60 people to like 30.
30.
It sucks.
So
Especially
there's
during
that
this
one.
time. I mean, seriously.
I
yeah, I
couldn't
mean,
imagine.
Midway closed some
Crappy time.
studios
Someone
like
losing
Austin.
their
Yeah, I heard about
laid
that.
off about a quarter of their people.
Another crappy
Free
time.
Radical sounds like it's closing. Then there was an update I saw today that said something that they're
That
not
was me.
closing, but they're in. I can't remember the word for it.
It's like
Bankruptcy
restructuring or
court?
something?
No, it's like they even though
Bankruptcy
they
limbo.
can't afford to pay their debts, they're still being allowed to operate.
Mojito limbo.
Just to try to survive, I guess.
I think it's like a restructured
Purgatory.
like, thing. It's
Yeah, it's-
kind of funky. It's not like
Starbucks.
Chapter 11 here, but it's
Yeah.
like some
Dunkin'
restructuring
Donuts.
phase.
Yeah, but I mean, again, like all these reports are sort of people say things and then the company comes out and says, "Well, actually, here's how it is," but really, it's probably the first way. But anyway.
Beyond!
Yeah, but anyway, it's not good for a lot of people these days.
No.
What is good
Especially
news?
now.
What is good news is that one game that was before kind of in limbo along with Ghostbusters Land,
Yeah?
Brutal Legend, has been picked up by
Oh.
EA.
Woo!
So now we're going to see Jack Black's madness.
He's
Feel
a
the
roadie,
thunder!
right? Isn't that the deal?
I don't know. He's got a guitar and he fights
I
people.
vaguely remember this.
I mean,
Frickin'
it's,
devil.
it's Tim Schafer. So
Seriously,
it's going to be good.
if you're
Tim
a
Schafer and Jack Black, so
Tim Schafer, Jack Black, you're a roadie and you like basically live out your rock god dreams.
That's me.
yeah.
How
And
can you go wrong with this?
The trailer that's up there
Psychonauts
is
people.
pretty funny, so I'm a big fan of that. Art direction's awesome. Fallout 3, the trophy patch is finally up. All you people have been
Booyah!
asking is where that is.
Hey,
There
real
it is.
thanks
yeah.
for making me play that before trophies.
Yeah, remember last week I
Jerk.
believe I said that. I think I said this on the show that Bethesda wasn't
done.
going to announce when it was coming out until it was ready. They didn't even announce it; it was just out.
what I
So
heard.
that's how crazy it was. Dante's Inferno is coming from EA. They've confirmed they're making a thing on that. The trailer. The trailer's
Cross to
stabbed
the
in the face. We'll see how that
This
goes.
is very similar to what the listeners are going through because I wasn't looking at either of you, and now it's here. Bah! Cross to the face. I'm like, what the hell's happening?
Yeah, and
well,
then
Ryan and I saw the trailer and there's
Oh,
like-
Dante's Inferno.
yeah,
Yeah,
Dante's
it's pretty
Inferno,
terrible.
and at the end, cross to the
Cross
face.
Nice.
Not light of
Eh.
God, not not mystical powers or anything. It's just getting impaled with a cross to the face of the damned.
Yeah.
It's-
And then the last bit of news that I mentioned today is, speaking of trailers, the first trailers for God of War 3 and
Uncharted 2.
And Uncharted 2. It's not really the first one, but it's aside from the teaser, it has a little more exposition, I guess, whatever. It was shown Sunday night during the Spike VGA Awards, whatever. Both of them are up on our site now. All of the things I mentioned, Dante's Inferno's up there, Brutal Legend, all the things are on the site.
Hey, real
But,
quick,
those were
poll.
shown,
Did any
so-
of us watch Spike TV?
I
Games
didn't.
Awards? I don't get cable, so I don't know.
I didn't even hear the question.
I have it recorded, but I haven't watched it. I think I got a DVR, but I also have episodes of Top Gear in there. So if I got to pick one of the two, it's Top Gear.
I was busy trimming the tree and decorating the house.
Yeah.
The tree, huh?
Holidays.
Everybody here get a
Some sort
tree?
of lingo or something?
I got a tree last weekend.
Yeah, it's called Christmas tree.
Okay.
I got pictures of the tree that my sister got, and the thing looks like it's 15 feet tall.
Your
Are you
sister's
serious?
crazy.
I don't know how they're going to fit. I've been to their place a couple times, and they got tall ceilings. They're in like a little loft thing, so the second floor is like half of the thing. So
Right.
they got really
That's
tall
cool.
ceilings.
But still.
I don't understand how they're going to fit this tree in there. But anyway, they
so
got it.
the picture wasn't like it's set up.
No, it's
It was
them
like on
getting
the
it.
car.
It's. I think I believe it was her fiance standing next to the tree, and he looks like a large present under the tree, basically compared to how tall it is.
Okay.
Wow.
And then there's the next picture is him being crushed by it on the ground.
Oh my God.
So yeah. But
Hey,
anyway,
real quick, everyone else is
Awesome.
going away for the holidays.
Yes.
Katie and I will not be. She might be. She's a flight attendant now. She might be on a flight. If not, I will hold Christmas in home.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Are you serious?
I will invite people to my apartment if this happens.
But you only
That'd be
invite 3
cute.
people at a time, though.
3 people?
I think so. I
All
think
right, I'll
can't
be
you
in the
only take in
central
3 people?
frickin' plaza.
I haven't tried to
Listen to
invite a ton of
music.
people, but I thought it was
No,
only 3.
No, I think you can have more than that, right?
Okay, well,
I
we'll
don't know.
see.
Well, I'm not-
You'll tell me how that goes.
Oh, we'll follow up on this later.
Yeah. Anyway, so that's the news for the week.
When Greg said,
Wait, Kevin Janiak is outside.
There you go.
Janiak
Come on in.
Beyond!
Yeah.
You love this show.
Hop in here, Beyond!
Beyond! Did you hear me yell at you earlier?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yes, we have a Beyond from
Walter
Janiak.
Fink.
God, no.
Step in here.
Tell people who you are.
Yeah, who are you? I don't even know what you do here.
Know who I am.
Oh, we already know.
I'm just going to get these terrible emails from what we screwed up with our site.
Oh.
Why the site is all broken. And
Oh,
So
we
you
get
did
that
the
all
new
the time.
design, huh?
But how
Let's
much?
see.
How
Kevin
much?
Janiak did the new
How
design.
much do you love podcast being?
Beyond?
Beyond?
See,
There
there you go.
There's the proper
That's all you
response.
need.
There
The
we go.
endorsement is all it takes.
Yeah, it's Drunken Podcast.
Yeah, this
Remember,
is
we
our
were talking
sixth.
about
It's
this
the
couple
last one of
shows
the
ago.
year, so.
yes.
Yeah, this is this is my sixth.
Would you like?
Yeah,
that?
no, this is my sixth.
Are you
We're
done?
finishing.
These?
Yeah,
Do
you
you
want to
want
finish them right now?
I
Right
already
there.
finished mine.
Oh, sorry. Well, I thought we were going to do something about it. All right.
Well,
You guys enjoy.
Thank
we
you.
are.
Beyond!
Beyond!
There we go. Special
All right.
visitor, Kevin
Pump
Janiak.
that Jeff Haynes. Mark it on the calendar. Do it.
Yeah, please.
Let's see it. Here we go.
Wait. All right.
Champagne bottle.
Surround sound.
Don't get... Oh, there it is.
That's right.
That's right.
Because that's how I do.
2009, year of Beyond.
Oh, let's get some champagne
Let's
flowing up in
establish,
here.
let's
let's
establish
establish
We were
the
supposed to
Empire Beyond.
save the champagne until later in the show, but
You
I
know
guess that was... Yeah.
I'm empty and the mojitos are not good, so there you go.
You
There it
can't
is.
save the Gloria Ferrer for like a later occasion. You have to just drink it when it comes.
Dude, look at Jeff stylishly tilting the glass.
Jeff knows what he's doing.
He knows what he's
Jeff and I
doing.
drink
I don't know.
occasionally.
I'll hold it down for the dirty,
All right,
dirty
now
stuff.
why- Jeff-
you down 2 beers in like 30 seconds.
While Jeff's filling up the glasses, we got to wait for him to get done so we can all toast.
Exactly.
Greg,
Yeah.
normally you give us the official list of IGN, whatever all
Yeah.
that is. Do you have it this week, or are you too drunk to put it together?
I'm pretty sure that I have the IGN official upcoming of list software PlayStation by the 3 platforms all on editors IGN. It's a huge week, Roper. I'm not sure if you're aware of this. All right?
Yeah.
Are
let's
you
hear
aware?
it.
Are you now aware?
I think
I don't know
I think I
how
know what's
aware
going
he
on.
is.
PlayStation 3,
Yeah.
Rise of the Argonauts.
Oh snap!
Then we jump to PlayStation Network, Crash Commando, and Castlevania.
Is this right?
Yes.
And then PlayStation 2 and PSP get the joint awesomeness of nothing.
Yes.
Oh.
Now, Roper,
Yeah.
you and I have both played Crash Commando.
Yes.
I would say that's probably the pick of the week.
Oh hell yeah! it
Pick
is.
of the week.
Commando
Although
is
Castlevania
fantastic.
Chronicles might be worth something, but I'm going to
True,
say
we haven't played that, but it's a
Castlevania
retro
Chronicle-
roundup too.
yeah,
It's
a
old.
roundup.
It's old.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's a PS1 title, I believe.
yeah. But for the new stuff, Crash
Same
Commando is awesome.
Price, anyway.
So
Crash
it-
Commando's
it-
good. I hope they have the
No.
debug setting where I can give myself trophies for nothing.
Yeah, I don't think I
Because
would
that was
but-
awesome.
Are we
Now-
cheersing?
Ladies and gentlemen,
Well,
Hold
wait,
on, I gotta
wait,
take a
wait,
picture.
hold on, wait till after the pick of the week is over,
my
then we'll do that.
Okay,
But now, for Crash Commando, let me
Wait,
just
well,
say
I'm sorry.
this.
What are we waiting for?
Well, we're going to cheers after pick of the week. Now, for Crash Commando, let me just say this. My review should be going up today, depending on the doctor appointment, maybe tomorrow, but definitely by tomorrow. Let me just say this for you guys that haven't played the game yet. First off, it's awesome. You should definitely play it. But I think that my only complaint about the game is I think it's going to be totally unbalanced. If you get that sniper
Right.
rifle, you'll be able to just kill anybody you want to. But check that game out. It's awesome. So definitely get that. Pick of the week is Crash Commandos. So there we go. Let's give a little
Hold on, I
cheers
gotta take a picture.
Ladies
to
and
the
gentlemen,
year that was.
Beyond Podcasters.
Hold on, God.
We are
I
drinking
can only
some
get
Gloria
Roper.
Ferrer
Wait.
Sonoma Brute.
All right, hold on. Shot, photo. These will be on my blog. There you
It
go.
is fantastic.
There you go.
There you
Good. Cheers, PlayStation.
To all you Beyonders.
It's all right.
It's not bad.
It's a little. It's kind of fruity.
You know what? This is actually one of their drier ones. They've got like some drier stuff, and they also have something that's a little bit sweeter. Might actually appeal to you. Some of the rosés.
No. See, I like the champagne. It's got a little bit of kick.
Oh, do you?
It's a little
Oh.
spicy kind of. I got.
You know
Kind
what?
of stuff.
I actually have a couple suggestions for you. I could hook you up.
It's fine. I buy the cheap stuff from Safeway.
Yeah, me too.
You know what?
All right.
Like the one that I'm thinking of, you can get a Bevmo for like less than $30.
Oh well, see, I go for like the $10 ones.
Okay, I
There
don't
you-
know about
no,
that.
yeah, totally.
No.
Safeway's the way to go.
Safeway's business.
Dude.
Let's get on to some trophy tips.
Life is too cheap to have the cheap stuff.
Yeah. Does anybody have any trophy tips? I got a couple. I can give some
I
from
got
Crash
some. I
Commando.
finished Prince of Persia last night.
Yeah.
And
Which you were not happy
No,
with.
I was horribly let down. I mean, here's my thing about Prince of Persia.
Tell us, Greg.
I enjoyed the game. You remember when I first started playing? I came in and said,
you
it's
were
so
like,
much fun.
This is the finest game I
did not
have
say
ever played.
That is not true.
Yep,
I said
that was your voice,
I said
too.
it's very fun and I enjoy it. Blah blah. The problem is, as you get further, combat gets more retarded, which I did not enjoy whatsoever. Like, has anybody here done a lot of combat in Prince of Persia?
I've done.
bit.
I've only played a couple hours. of it,
Only a
but-
little bit, but it's
like it's one of those things where like people start regenerating health and walk backwards.
Yeah.
And when you're in that combat thing, you can't run.
No, yeah, you
so you're
can't.
shuffling towards them, and then you're trying to do the grab because
Which
that's
is
the only
lame.
thing that'll stop them. And you're whiffing past them, and it pissed me off. However, the ending is even worse because the ending is, if they had set up the story up to that point where it made sense, where I won't spoil this for anybody. When you get there, think of everything that's happened before back, story-wise, between Nathan Drake and the princess, and you will understand what's happening.
wow. We have a crossover.
Anyways, trophy trips are that Prince of Persia.
Trophy trips or trophy tips?
I'm sorry, Mister.
Just the
1
tip.
1/3
I wasn't
Smirnoff.
making fun of you. I love
Oh.
it. I love how
Well, I'm
drunk
gonna-
you are.
I
freaking
believe that Greg
do
is
stuff.
calling you out on your drinking skills.
That's
No,
fine.
I'm not doing that. But I am. Prince of Persia is very easy.
Just the tip.
Yeah.
Actually-
easy trophies. I'm gonna go back for sure and platinum it when I get the time, probably in February.
Actually,
Because no games are coming out in February.
I've got a just the
What?
tip.
Just tip.
Just the tip. For something that isn't necessarily a trophy tip, but it's one of the things that relates to Soldner X Himmelsserver,
X Kiss.
which I just reviewed
I got another
recently.
one. Sorry.
And
How
I
many
believe
sturms did you himmel?
I sturmed so many Himmels, it's not even funny.
Okay.
Even Per Schneider went, "Oh my God, what is this?"
Did you?
It sounds like he's narrating some of that game, by the way.
Yeah, it does. It really does.
See, I haven't played it yet.
Golf.
But I want to.
It's an excellent hard shooter. But I believe Darth Bryan on our boards
I know
set
him.
up the Himmelsturmer review thread, and one of the threads that actually, or one of the comments that was in that thread was, "How do you beat the second level boss?" And one of the guys said, "Well, you can fly over top of him and shoot his neck, or you can hope that the spikes land on him, and that's kind of luck." But that's not actually true. What you can do is you can fly down at the bottom of the screen, and what happens is all the spikes that fall from the ceiling are actually calibrated to wait for you. So all of a sudden, if you move back and forth side to side, you'll find that the spikes will try and fall on you after they wait for a certain point. You can actually see them start to descend from the ceiling. So if you time your move, you can fly back and forth, have the spikes land on the boss as it would actually land on you, and time it so you get a whole line of things landing on the neck, cause massive damage.
Massive damage?
Hit the weak point for massive damage. And
Ridge
that's an
Racer.
easy way. That's an
It's
easy
Ridge
way
Racer.
to get around the boss. Is fly towards the bottom of the screen. Don't worry about the top.
To explain what the boss is like, to explain the whole thing, is if you haven't played the game, the boss is a giant. This thing is like
It's
a
a
giant
giant
skull
snake
head.
and- yeah,
or
skull
something,
head thing.
But it kind of comes out of the side of this cave as a snake.
Yeah,
So
and-
he's got a really long neck, and he comes
and
out,
on
and
top-
you want to shoot him in the neck.
Yeah, and on top of that, not only
That makes more sense.
not
Yeah.
only does it fire like little like wasp things out of its mouth,
Don't-
but then
don't
every
use
now
racial
and then it
slurs.
moves back and forth inside a wall, and then it comes out and breathes fire. So it
Oh.
has multiple stages to it.
A wire?
Yeah.
So you really want to use these spikes. Don't try and shoot it. You won't wind up killing it.
You have a trophy tip.
I got a couple tips for Crash Commando.
Oh, yeah.
So now,
Go to the debug settings
Yeah,
and
no,
keep
that's-
giving yourself experience points.
yeah, that's not in the game. That's not in the final game. But no, one of the trophies in the game is to get 20 kills with each of the 6 main weapons.
Yep.
Which, if you, most people will figure this out by anyway. But when you start the game, or you can just pause and you can pick player profile, I believe it's called, and that will tell you on the right hand side. There's sort of a counter, so you can get whatever your ultimate kill or whatever, some thing you're trying to go for. And each one, if some weapons have like 50 or 60 kills, whatever, but it'll tell you how many kills you have, so you can watch how many you have and then just switch between all the weapons. Another one is that you can kind of do all these at the same time. Is one of them just for getting medals in all of the single player thing against the bots, which is pretty simple to do. But one of them is you can't play the challenge mode against the bots, which is basically capture the flag. You go to a station and then you download some data and you come back to yours. It's capture the flag variant, but you can't do that versus the bots. But you can do it online versus another player, which you can do a couple things at once here. One, you get a trophy for hosting a multiplayer game for an hour. So you can just try to put it the score as high as possible, put it infinite or whatever, and then you and your friend just screw around, and there's trophies for delivering 20, I believe, downloads, and for blowing up 20 of the other dude's stations. So you can just kind of go back and forth and stick around for, I guess, 2 hours total. Both you get a number of trophies, 3 or 4, I guess, just for doing that. Plus you can get the kills or whatever. So that's pretty good. And then my other one, which I believe that I mentioned last week, is in the game, you get, as you kill people, you build this little meter. Then there's little 3 things that you can target, turn on for while you're alive, whatever. One of them is health, one of them is speed, one of them is something else, shield or whatever it is. And if you use it, and then if you put all 3 on at the same time 10 times, you get a trophy. If you use one and then you die, you lose it, but you don't lose the experience that you're gaining for those. So if you can play it safe and save a bunch of experience. You won't know how much you have because the meter just fills once, but you can save up a bunch. Then when you feel good about it, you can turn all 3 on at the same time, and then you get that thing.
Right on.
So
I don't remember anything you just said.
yeah, but if you play
good.
You
play the game,
sniper rifle wins.
if you play the game, you'll know what I mean.
Yes.
Okay, so
But
Real quick. Oh, go.
what were you going to say, Greg?
I have different trophy chips, so go.
Oh, go ahead. No,
It's cool. You go.
I was going to follow something.
now-
about-
Give me a cheers there, Jeff.
now we're getting to the part where the
Yeah.
drunk is starting to get lovey.
Jeff, I
No,
love you
I'm not
so
drunkard. I
much.
just thought we were at the end of the segment.
Was your quote
Well, no,
earlier
Jet-
when
Greg
you were
is.
like, I want
Well,
to make
yeah.
out with everyone?
Someone said
Well,
earlier
wow.
that they didn't know when they were drunk, and I said I am drunk when I want to make out with everyone. And then I called over the new Sophia. His name is Shivam,
Oh,
and I said, Shivam,
Make out with
let's do this
go.
dance. And he said, all right.
And how did that go for you?
Not well.
Did you feel dirty?
4 sexual harassment suits have already been filed.
see.
Mark
Yes.
Ryan, who wasn't even in the room, filed one. I don't know.
God.
Anyways, my final trophy tip is Luminous Supernova. If everything goes according to plan, I will review it tomorrow. I will tell you right now, if you do not love Luminous, like me and Jeff Haynes,
Just the tip.
you should, and Dave Clayman,
Oh, that's true.
you should not play this game because it will addict you and you will do it. So far, I've sunk 12 hours into this game,
My God.
and I am pretty sure I'm only 40% way
You only got
through
it
on
2
trophies.
hours ago,
Wow.
too.
I know, it's pretty bad.
Wow.
It's crazy. You will go crazy. Ryan, you've sat next to me for probably about a decade. You know I don't get very animated about my games. However,
You're pretty
yesterday,
animated
when I
about it.
finally beat Dig Down Mode, I went crazy and slammed on my desk, and I slammed it so hard that your game of Eternal Sonata skipped in the
Eternal
final boss
Poison.
battle. Whatever.
It's all the same.
Yeah, some RPG no one plays. And it skipped, and you had to go redo everything.
Yeah,
but
that
I
was
beat
pretty
Dig Down
funny.
Mode and got my silver trophy.
But to be
There you
fair,
go.
as I said to you yesterday, I don't actually know if you made it skip or if it just
well, you sure
froze.
made me feel bad about it.
Well,
Good job,
sorry.
Ryan.
Nice going.
Thank you.
Good
don't
going.
reverse the guilt
Ryan,
on
I'm gonna
me
kick you
now.
out of the show.
I never
Anyway,
actually blamed you.
Phantom Zone.
Actually, I can't because the whole mix pad
Board's all
thing here has
screwed up.
been so screwed up. I'm number 7. Ryan, wait, I think Ryan's number 2. Ryan, are you in the
Wait,
show?
are you?
I kicked him off the show. I got it. I remembered. Penalty box for Ryan.
Phantom Zone.
Drink for the Phantom
Drink
Zone.
for the Phantom
Come on,
Zone.
Rope. Yeah.
Phantom
yeah.
Zone.
Yeah.
Phantom Zone can't drink.
But anyway, what I was going to say is that
Ryan's back from the Phantom Zone.
Oh.
Yeah,
Hey, how long is this going to go on for?
no, it's really short.
What is it?
It's Zombie Vlognak because we've already
nice.
skipped Zombie Vlognak.
Well, because we thought he was dead.
No, you know what? He's partying like a rock star for the holidays.
I see.
But there are a few things that are actually coming out on PSN today.
Let's hear it.
We've already talked about Crash Commando. There
Hell
are
yeah.
going to be the second half of the Little Big Planet Santa
Yep.
Sack costume.
Ooh, Santa's sack.
Santa Sack.
It's a-
so you can always get Santa
It's a nice
Sack
download.
Mrs.
for the
Claus
holidays
loves
right
Santa
before
Sack.
Mrs. Claus loves
Put that
Santa
into your
Sack.
system.
Yes. The second episode of the Penny Arcade game is going to be out.
That I'm interested in. Has trophies.
Yes. And I believe there are going to be new high-velocity bowling characters as well.
Finally! Beyond!
It is going to be fantastic.
What a week!
And I'm
Yes.
assuming that those characters and lanes and everything else will be available at home when I go bowling there.
Of course not.
What?
Because home is terrible. Lol.
What?
Lolcat.
Anyway.
Eh.
All right, we're
All
done.
right, let's get on with the show. Topic of the week.
Topic of the week.
Topic of the week.
Oh man, that was
Hey, man.
Well, anticlimactic.
Hey, you know how my
5 minutes.
wife feels? Bazing!
Oh man.
Wow.
Every night I come home, I'm like, topic of the week. It's like, what does that even mean?
Wow.
We have to pay bills. You spend money on chicken wings. This doesn't make any sense.
Doesn't make any sense.
I'm stunned. I am stunned.
So, topic of the week this week. It's this is the last show of the year, like we talked about. We're basically at the end. Couple more games coming out for the PS3 in the name of Crash Commando. And,
Yeah.
and next week is Savage Moon.
Yes.
Luminous should be next week.
Yeah, Luminous should be next
Unconfirmed.
week. We'll see.
Should be game of the year. We messed
My
up by
nose
not
is
putting it on.
stuffy.
We'll see. But so anyway, so the year's pretty much over. So we're going to talk about PlayStation year as a whole, 2008. How'd it go? What did Sony do right? What did Sony do wrong?
Represent 2008.
I will jump on the bandwagon first because
Let's
then I'm
hear
going to go pee. Here's my
you
thing.
didn't last long at all.
Yeah, I know. I
Dude,
talked
Break
about-
the seal. It's over.
Wait.
I broke the seal on
If you take 72 ounces, 72
Yeah!
fluid ounces,
See,
Ryan,
Cheeto.
Look at this.
You're going
72.
to.
Like I said last week, 72 is my favorite number.
There you go.
It wasn't 71 or
go.
73 ounces, 72 ounces.
Son of Sam, too.
Wow.
I'm telling you, it's everywhere.
I don't think that's
that is impressive, Roper.
Yep.
That is
Anyways,
impressive.
As I mentioned last week, as hit of the week was my
Hit of the week?
my best friend from high school, Poe. I want to say right now, excellent work, everyone. Excellent work. I was playing NCAA with him, and he's like, "Hey, is there some kind of PlayStation 3 directory for names?" And I'm like, "No, why?" He's like, "All these St. Pat's kids keep questioning me. I've got like 55 kids from St. Pat's."
That is awesome.
And I started naming like names like we went to school with. I'm like, "Is it blah blah blah?" He's like, "I don't know. They, it just says that I know you from blah blah." And I'm like, "Oh, that's weird." And then we went back to playing the game. And so then a couple nights ago, we were talking about it as well. And he's like, "Hey," he started listing the games he had bought, which were like awesome games: Uncharted, Resistance 2, Little Big Planet, all this great stuff. And I'm like, "Oh, that's great." And he's like, "But I keep getting these friends requests." And I'm like, "Wow, did they say Beyond?" He's like, "Every one of them." And he's like. And I finally clued him in that, it was a joke that I had, dined out and told us personal information. He's like, "Oh, man, I had no idea," because I was about to ask you if when I sent you a friend request, if it said Beyond. Because he's like, I was pretty sure that it was like something in the PlayStation software, that when you sent out a message, it included Beyond. Which I thought was great. And would be a great hack if anyone has the technology to make sure Beyond is in there. Anyways, though. Poe was talking about all the games he had gotten and what was coming up and what we should play together. And it was one of those really, slap you in the face moments where you said back like, "Man, we had a great year."
Yeah.
We really had a lot of great stuff. As far as PlayStation Network, PlayStation 3, it was a lot of great content.
Yep.
PSP did great.
Yes.
Done. PSP, not so awesome.
much. No.
Now, Greg, are you going to go take your leak? All right.
Yeah.
Beyond!
You're gonna need to use that again,
Wow.
And a quarter fell out of his pants when he got up.
Ooh, that's yours.
Somehow.
That's good for laundry.
Could I do surround sound?
Yeah,
Is this doing
yeah,
anything?
that's doing something
you probably
crazy.
could.
Whoa, all right.
Okay, Bon Jovi.
Yeah, that didn't work.
Like, I have to agree with Greg. Like, I think the PS3 had a phenomenal year. I mean, I think
Really
like
did.
if you look at a lot of the things that came out, well, you have GTA 4, you have MGS4, you have like the solid fall that we had. Like it was
Big Planet.
an incredible. Yeah, Little Big Planet,
Valkyria
Resistance 2,
Chronicles.
Valkyria, Dead Space. Like
Our Eternal Sonata,
Look,
which was way better than the
Wait,
360
as
version.
an aside to this one really fast, while I mentioned Valkyria, apparently the sales numbers for that game are abysmal.
yeah, I know.
I'm telling you now, if you have not bought Valkyria Chronicles,
get this game.
go get it.
Go get
buy
it
the game.
now.
The
Go
game
buy
is
it.
phenomenal.
Yes.
I don't get it.
Go
Like,
buy it.
Even
God,
if you
ticks
have an
me off.
aversion to that kind of art style, get it. It is
don't see
one
how-
of those games that you will not regret having in your library.
just
Yeah,
don't get it.
so
It
go
is
get that game.
incredible.
Don't let them
But
down.
PS3 had an incredible year. I mean, this is one of those things where everybody's like, "Oh yeah, the 360 had this, or we had." It's like, no, to hell with that. PS3 had a great year. PSP, on the other hand, and I will say this before I go and have my my bathroom break, PSP had an abysmal year. What the hell? I don't care what
So,
Sony was
well-
doing. It was just like, okay, they rolled out the 3000, which had the LCD issues.
Yep.
And that was a huge stumbling block for the PS3 because it was like, or the PSP, because every single time that you started going, okay, this has Skype, this has these features, this is why you want to have a PSP 3000. There are no games, the LCD issues
Snap.
wind up complicating everything else.
Am I still talking?
And then you start going like,
Break it.
well,
All right.
why am I going to spend this much for a PSP when the DS has this, or I
Now,
can get everything else
DS
for another
yeah,
system?
Here's my take on 2008 for the PSP.
Sucked.
There were
Patapon.
there's Patapon.
God of War.
There was God of War. There was Crisis Core.
Hot Shots Golf?
Yes.
Hot Shots.
Now,
Hot
here's
Shots
the thing:
Golf,
the top tier games that came out for the system, the top 4, 5, maybe 6 games that came
Beginning
out for the
of the
system,
year.
Awesome.
are all awesome, and
Yeah.
were all in the beginning of the year pretty much. But they were all awesome. Everything else was crappy. And now here's the thing: is according to the list that we keep, there was only 70 some odd games, I believe, released for the system this year, which is
Yep.
terrible.
Yes.
Yeah, which is
Bad.
really bad.
DS, I mean, wasn't it like 1 month out? Like there was more games for the DS in 1 month or so. I thought.
I don't know almost
if
the
that number's
entire
correct,
year.
but
Well,
I know
I'm saying it
I
is
know
the
it would at least be
fact.
close.
I feel it in my gut.
I think it would be unbelievable if it wasn't 2 months.
Well,
and
I think you're unbelievable.
I do want to comment,
thank you.
though. Because I love being...
Don't.
Does anybody
Jeff's going to the bathroom.
Remember what the band the name of that band is?
Coyote Ugly.
No,
when she
it's not.
dances on the.
No, the band. The band. Ryan, do you know?
I
It's
do,
trivia for
because
the
I
day.
have that song.
What is
but
the band?
He just said it. Trivial Pursuit.
No, it's not.
What? That's what you said.
Trivial Pursuit.
Wait. Okay, no, maybe I'm thinking of the wrong song. I was thinking of something else from Coyote Ugly, I guess.
Yeah, that's a good movie.
EMF.
I never saw it.
I believe it is
good?
EMF.
Oh, that sounds right.
Yeah.
And you know
that's
what?
very good.
I got a coupon in the mail the other day from Extreme Pizza, where you
Ooh.
buy one pizza, get another pizza free.
Ugh.
I said we do that. What?
That's what I'm talking about.
Dude,
You're
know,
leaving,
you
right?
know what
Yeah.
happens. Every
Oh,
time
do
I
it
have
tomorrow.
extreme pizza, I get sick.
Tomorrow, I'm hungry now.
I got
Jeff went away, by the way.
Yeah.
Let's make fun of
Jeff
Jeff.
So can I...
Oh, sorry, go.
Oh, all right.
Go.
So I just wanted to say something, and
Done.
this is definitely important to consider.
Let's hear
All
it.
I was going through the PSP release list for next year, making up this very elaborate poll, which Greg totally deleted. And when he built
Here's
the
my
page the
problem.
next
Greg
day,
Miller goes on vacation very rarely at IGN.
Yes.
We all know that I am the heart and soul of this company.
No.
And I come back. Ryan does no job of informing me that a mandate has come down that polls are now very important. They never were before.
Uh-huh.
And so I build PSP. In my head, mind you, I was gone on Monday seeing an awesome game, which I'm assuming we're going to talk about eventually.
We're going to mention it in the reader mail.
Exactly. Saw fantastic game. And came back on Tuesday. Felt like Monday to me. So I started building the PSP page. I delete the poll. Midway through deleting it and starting a new question, I'm like, oh, wait a second. It's Tuesday. I didn't have to do this. I'm like, whatever. Doesn't matter. I'm sure Ryan's poll was, when you wear pants, do you roll them up or roll them down? And I was like,
What does everybody do here? Does everybody roll them up or down?
well, I roll them down, dude.
I don't actually
Crack
understand
City.
what the question is. Like,
It makes
pants,
perfect
roll?
sense.
I don't even get it. What, you mean roll the legs up?
Whatever. You're off.
How do you do it?
I'm off. Anyway,
You're in
Here's
the
what I'm
Phantom
going to say.
Zone.
If
Phantom
you
Zone.
have a van and a lot of candy, you roll them down.
Yeah.
Anyways,
that was
I delete
a
them.
point, though.
Then, after I delete them,
You'll be back in
20
a minute.
minutes go by. Ryan Clements goes,
Oh, no.
"Oh, you deleted my poll.
Oh!
This is very important." I'm like, why didn't anybody tell me?
His terabyte
Where
porn.
was the email? I checked the email on my iPhone.
Ryan's terabytes.
No,
porn
Ryan, what were
gone.
the details of your poll?
Can I come back from the Phantom Zone?
No.
Ryan's still in the Phantom Zone. Hold on, he's come back.
Start telling your story.
You
Hello, everyone.
And one
Am I
day,
back? I still don't
your
think I'm back.
ass-
Am I
Oh,
coming
there he
back?
is.
Yes, I am. Oh, wow. Oh, my God. It's...
Hey, real quick, didn't we decide the other day that when you send somebody to the Phantom Zone, it actually doesn't mute them?
No,
Something
no.
like that.
I
It does.
mute and drop the volume.
Oh,
I got it.
right.
He's
But
totally
when you're
out.
doing the woo-doo-doo-doo.
Can I tell?
He's going in and out.
All right,
Anyway.
fine, have it your way, Ro.
There's nothing in there.
All right.
Ryan,
Anyway.
what's
Are you
the
drunker
detailed poll?
than
No,
we're
no,
supposed to be?
I'm not. I've just got to scare
What's
for a
the
second
poll?
because I saw. Okay, just calm down.
Get him in the poll.
All right. So
Solius.
Jeremy suggested to me when I was when I was making the poll the other day for PSP was like, dude, why don't you make the poll be what game is people looking forward to next year? So go through the release list, look at the top 100, see what's big. So I went through. There are a surprising number of like really cool, awesome, important games coming out next year.
Patapontu.
Yeah,
Loco
Patapon
Roco.
2, Loco Roco 2, Kingdom
Dissidia.
Hearts, Birth by Sleep,
Kingdom Hearts.
Dissidia, which could very well be like the coolest PSP game ever.
No, Patapon 2 will be.
Phantasy Star Portable. We said Patapon 2 already.
No, I'm saying Patapon 2 will be the coolest game ever.
Okay.
Don't
And?
bother. Don't step, son.
Well, I don't have the list in front of me, but basically I had way more than 10.
Well, we've already gone through
Really?
5 right there.
I know. Yeah, there was 10, and I had to leave a bunch of really important crap out because
Madden 10?
What?
Madden 10?
No, I don't know.
No,
Madden wasn't on
no.
there. But anyway, I'm just saying that next year, even though I'm not saying that they're all going to come out nice and timely and it's going to be like a great year, I'm just saying that there are at least a tight collection of amazing games coming to the PSP next
Yeah,
year.
but
Here's what I'll say.
Amazing
Go.
games. Like,
But-
these things will rock the
Your
crap
socks.
out of the
That
PSP.
that is all fine and good.
Right.
But part of the problem that I happen to have with this is that it's almost essentially the same thing as the potential statement. It's like, oh, this has potential. Oh,
Well,
the
they're all
PSP is
coming
going to have
out.
potential. Oh, it's going to be coming out here. It's like, to hell with freaking potential. We already paid for this. There's
Jeff,
three
Jeff, throw a
iterations
cap.
of this.
Are we
It's
3
on.
4 years in?
And
right?
you know what?
Yeah.
Like, we're not only 3 years into this damn system, but it's like, this is where you want to start blowing out the big guns. You want to
We're
start
almost
pulling
4 years
things
into
out.
the system.
That's true, because
that's
in March.
fine.
So you
Tag
want
me
to
in
start
when you're ready.
All I
pulling
was
out the
trying to
big guns. You want to start going, this is exactly why you go to hell with the DS and the DSi. PSP is here. It's here to stay. This is exactly why you want to do the transition from PS2 to the PSP to the PS3. You have the whole system, the whole suite, and that's the only thing that you want to do. You want to go Sony, to hell with Xbox, to hell with Wii, to hell with DS, all this other crap. This is the only reason why you want to have these systems. And yet, 2008 was fallow. not exactly the best way to get momentum. The only way that you're going to get that momentum is by dealing with the PS3. It's kind of weak. It's kind of weak as far as the handheld stands. And even if the rumor of the redesigned PSP 2 or PSP 4000 winds up actually happening, or the PSP price drop, what the hell? I mean, like, you have to have some kind of momentum to justify it. And it wasn't there.
I didn't say it. I didn't say that the year was...
No. It was just mini
good.
rant. Just mini
saying.
rant.
Tag in Greg.
Tag me in.
Tag. Boom!
All right, so yeah, what I'm saying is everything Jeff just said. But the problem I have is that or not the problem, but I agree that 2009 looks up. I talk to John Kohler all the time. We're good buddies. Sometimes
I'm sure he loves you.
we get on home.
Hey, John, I hate everything you do.
Whoa, wait a second.
No,
he has,
you never
he
actually
has
said
nothing to
that.
do with home. I do not hate
I
everything
know.
he does.
I know.
He does PSP, which is my lifeblood here at IGN. So I enjoy it.
Yes.
Anyways, he does talk about, games that are coming in the future. Or, they went on this road show 9 months ago. Hopefully, we're going to see those, fruits of those labors in 9, which makes me excited because I think we will. I won't say names. I've heard one thing off the record, which makes me very excited for PlayStation Portable next year. Even if it's just that one title, seeing as how I still play Luminous and I still play Hot Shots. When I'm on a plane, those are the games I'm playing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, however, I completely agree with Jeff that if these rumors of PSP 2, 4000, whatever are true, that is a terrible way to go. You have no momentum and you've alienated a fan base. Like, why would I? What would be my inclination to go out and buy? Why would you? What makes me want to go out and buy a new PSP? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, what am I playing right now? I'm playing games.
You guys. I just say that there's a lot of.
I'm not taking you.
Yeah.
No, I'm kind of agreeing with you. I'm excited about 2009.
And I think, Greg, you want to hit me in from the corner? Boom! Boom! I think that part of it is that, like...
Hot take!
Oh, of course, because...
The ref's down!
I think that part of it is that, like, because we happen to be privy to certain things that are going to be coming out in 2009, like, we've seen, in some cases, we've played some of these games.
Resistance.
And, yes.
That was another one on my list.
And there's some things that it's like, this is going to be phenomenal for the PSP. But there is part of the thing in the back of your head that makes you go, why the hell couldn't you have gotten this out in 2008? It's like, Jesus.
They have dragged their feet on getting awesome software out.
Yeah. I mean, like at one point, I think, like, earlier on this year, I think it was like September or October, we're sitting there and we're going, like, there's nothing for the PSP. Like, we've got PS2, which somehow all of a sudden had a huge explosion of ports and just random games. And PS3... And the PSP was just, like, fallow. I mean, it was a field that nothing was growing in. And you're just sitting there going, like, okay, the DS is getting, like, Cooking Mama.
You just blew my mind.
You know,
it was like a field.
I'm
nothing was growing in.
Daisies and flowers.
I'm crediting that to you.
You know what? I'm trying to get into that artistic
do you know what the PSP is like? It's like flour.
What? Flowers?
Well, that's a good thing. It's like flower in the game where you got to go over and pollinate it with your penis.
And you know what else? It's like with flour, you start off as a little thing and you just kind of move around. You go through the wind, and you grow stuff, and there's no point to it.
When's that
so
come
really,
out?
it's exactly the same.
No point.
Damn, son, I said it.
Oh, snap!
Flower's awesome.
I
enjoy flower. I
was not even going there.
I think it's a step above Linger in the Shadows. Step below every other PSP.
But all I was trying to say is that, like, 2008, like, honestly, with the exception of maybe some business trips, I wound up replaying games that I'd already played. And it was like, seriously, with the movie side pretty much dead, unless you're just, like, importing things from other stuff for digital.
Here's the
download.
kick in the pants.
Why are you using it?
Here's the kick in the pants. Metal Gear Solid Touch
on the iPhone. Can't wait.
Now here's the thing.
This brings up a good point. Is the iPhone going to take over the portable market?
That's what I'm saying.
I would think so, dude.
Levi and I have been in the midst of an email fight, basically, going over
You're
why...
rumbling with Levi Buchanan?
Oh, hell yeah.
He's got a beard, watch out.
I know, I'm afraid of it. He's
got the Unabomber
It's
thing,
kind of like Micah. He's got the powers in there.
Watch it.
Remember Micah.
Yeah, bring back the dead.
Oh, God.
But anyway, it's we're talking about the iPhone versus the PSP, and I'm taking the side of the PSP, even though I don't totally believe it.
Even if I have no business doing it.
Yeah, and but I mean, we're bringing up some interesting points in this fight that we're doing here, and there's so many games on the iPhone now. There's been 300 million downloads or whatever on the App Store.
Yeah.
Wow.
And you figure, okay, so a lot of these things are crap, but the most expensive stuff, generally speaking, with a few exceptions, it's like $10. So you're talking it's a third to a quarter of the price of PSP games. Mm-hmm. And dude, now Metal Gear is coming to the iPhone.
which is automatically going to sell a certain number.
Oh yeah, I'm buying it day
regardless
one.
of whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I know at least 2 or 3 people minimum that are going to like automatically first day.
Yeah, now
as soon as
granted,
it goes
it's
live.
a different kind of Metal Gear experience. Metal Gear Touch.
We don't
It
know,
sounds,
right?
It
We
just
have no
sounds like you
idea.
tap
Right.
people to shoot
But
them. But
The
still,
really
it's Metal
cool thing
Gear.
is that they've already brought SimCity to the iPhone.
Yeah.
And it's 3,000
Yeah,
according
and
to.
it's incredible. Like,
I've seen more like 2,000, but
no.
Something.
According to Jason Ocampo,
checking out
PC editor.
Ocampo's.
all right.
Yeah, checking out
Editor-in-chief.
Ocampo's. Checking out Ocampo's iPhone, that thing looks incredible.
I'm gonna
And
do it. I'm gonna do it.
That is the thing. Is that
Don't stop me.
I have
Ryan.
a feeling that some of the handheld designers have kind of been sleeping on the iPhone.
And here's the thing too: is id Software is making an iPhone game,
That's true.
and they're saying it's going to be a graphical tour de force.
Doom.
It has never made a PSP game,
Doom.
so
I'm a little concerned. It's not like I'm going like, oh wow, the iPhone is going to be the PSP or the DS killer, but I think that part of the thing is that the iPhone does have a dedicated base, and I think that PSP and DS owners can't sleep on something where you have a dedicated core of users that will automatically go out, buy that, and then, there was actually something in, I think, the Wall Street Journal where it was like, Apple has the 99-cent issue.
Yeah.
Where everything over 99 cents, it either has to bring the thunder. Or and the lightning, or it's not really going to be like that high.
Well, now here's the thing. Here's the thing: is the iPhone doesn't directly, in many ways, compete with the PSP. Totally different things. iPhones do everything device. PSP is mostly for games. You get some multimedia function there.
But they try to position it as a do everything device.
Right, but now here's the thing, though: is really the competition lies in the publishers and the larger development houses. When you say, "Here's we have 8 games going on at a time. What are we developing for? We'll put 4 games towards PS3 360. We'll put 2 games towards Wii, and then 2 games towards the handheld space. Mm-hmm. Handheld space is going to include DS, going to include PSP. It's going to start now including iPhone. So you say, which things bring the most money?
Right.
The DS is everywhere, but the game sales I don't think are that crazy for most of those. They're just cheap to make. But now you look at the PSP. If Metal Gear breaks through like we assume that it will, then you're gonna have people going, okay, why would I develop for the PSP? I might as well do it for the iPhone.
Right.
I don't have to put anything in the store. It's free for me to publish it, basically. It's a $99 fee to get in the thing. You publish as many games as you want. At the advertising, you just do it all web-based or whatever. The advertising costs are the same, but you don't have to worry about shelf space. You don't have to worry about manufacturing the disc. Approval process is, like, in my case, it's been 3 or 4 days per thing.
Right.
So it's, it's like, I don't know why you would spend money going for the PSP these days when you can probably make more money and do it much more easily on the iPhone.
My turn.
Go ahead.
What time is it?
It is
on the recording.
46 minutes and 48 seconds.
Well, hey Ryan, Sony f***ed up. God damn it! They were first to the market about all this crap, and they didn't capitalize on any of it. I've talked about it before. Mediocre on music, mediocre on movies, mediocre on games, everything else. iPhone comes around, it's touch, everybody loves it. iTunes directly into it, everything else. Way to go. Make PSP 2 all about games. Don't release it until you have cool crap on PSP.
Wow.
Right.
Beyond!
I wasn't even gonna go there. I mean, the thing that I was gonna say is that, like, I think that there should be a definite worry or a definite concern if there happens to be kind of a thing internal within Konami going like, hey, there might actually be more of a reason to go the iPhone route instead of PSP. I mean, a lot of the things with like ACID or portable ops, especially portable ops, they learned like a lot of the things with like wireless technology, GPS, all these other features which you can basically get with some of the iPhone applications. So if you have something like a portable ops on an iPhone and you have whatever this new Metal Gear happens to be,
I pray to
and they
Lord
manage to figure out exactly how it happens to work, and it works better because like everybody that has an iPhone winds up like buying it more than they would on the PSP. That could be scary because Konami could go, this experiment might not necessarily be the best thing. And in that case, one of the most anticipated things of 2009, the digital graphic novel, which had been pushed back multiple times.
Solis is attacking!
Take a picture.
I decided I want my photo with Sully.
That's
hold
true.
On, hold on. But I want to move the bottles out of the way.
But,
that way
How do you zoom in on this thing?
I don't know.
I don't
It's
know.
Jax.
Oh, wait, there
I
it
left
is.
mine at home
But
like an
considering
idiot.
that like Konami had
Get us
already
both
pushed
in it.
back
I
the
got-
digital
you're in there.
graphic novel, I'm a little concerned that they might go, the PSP might not be
good.
worth it
Thank
for
you.
us.
It's good.
We might want to look at developing other things for different systems.
Guess what? It's time to move on with the show.
Let's do it.
I agree with everything Jeff said. Do we even see, it seemed like a
Greg, are you okay?
No.
Moving on with this thing, hold on, because we got something to take care of at the end. Special surprise that I haven't unveiled yet, but we have a little.
Wow.
Do we know about it?
No.
You don't know about it yet. I can't. I realized it in the middle of the show. It's something that I try to do every year, but it hasn't been brought up.
I don't wanna
on
spoil
Beyond
it.
Yet, so
Is
I
the
don't wanna spoil
surprise
it.
that
I'm
you
glad I'm
fire
still
one of the
sober.
two
no,
members?
no,
No, I'm getting promoted.
no, that's not what it is at all. Not what. Let's get on the reader mail.
Reader mail! Chain mail? No
We're
mail?
gonna
No
play
bag?
it.
You got some mail! Put it in the slot, motherfucker!
We're gonna get on with this one right now. So,
Alpha male. Male man.
our first piece of mail.
You got big questions.
Our first piece of mail
Bring
comes
it
from
on.
Dogmatic Punk.
Oh, Dogmatic.
Here he goes. He says,
Dogmatic.
He says, with more info about heavy rain starting to surface, he's beginning to get the impression that this will just be one long interactive cutscene where you're limited to QuickTime events and selecting branching paths at certain points. What's the deal with it?
No.
What's going on?
Now, Ryan and I can essentially talk about this
Do it,
because
Ryan.
Ryan saw part of this at Leipzig. I saw this in Paris about a month ago or so. It is not a whole thing of QuickTime events. In fact, it is radically different than that.
Yeah, it's
now,
totally
they haven't
different
really been
approach.
showing a lot of the recent gameplay because they've been keeping that very close to the vest. However, what they have been showing is that
yes?
as you move through an environment, you'll be able to interact with specific items within the environment. And so as you move through something,
Very
you might
good.
accidentally brush up against something, and you have the opportunity to go, try and pick up that vase before it breaks on the floor, or let it break.
Curious.
And whatever you decide to do will actually influence the rest of the game. It's
Unlike
not a
Prince of
quick-
Persia, when you're
Yeah.
directed into one decision that doesn't make any
It's-
sense at the end of the game.
Right.
It is truly Heavy Rain may look like a QuickTime event, but it is truly the evolved
or
QuickTime event.
QuickTime
I'm
event
excited.
Like
best.
it is what QuickTime events were destined to be. Like it is
Had
it is
Shenmue 3 come
evolved
out.
into something where
Oh my
yet
God,
you're still
Shenmue. Come on.
What's that? Shenmue?
No. It's not so much a Shenmue fest, but
No.
part of it is like everybody's going to have some kind of interactivity with the environment. The difference is that as you move through, whatever you choose to interact with is going to have a direct correlation and impact upon what the
story,
rest of the
too.
story happens
Yeah.
to develop
Absolutely.
into.
That's
So
another
if you-
huge part.
Yeah, so if you choose
see.
to hide in a closet as opposed to hiding in the bathroom, the way that things wind up playing out in a certain sequence will wind up influencing
What
the
if
rest
I
of the
hide
game.
in your
So,
pocket?
so now wait. Here's
Then
now
it's
here,
a
here's
little
the
bit
here's the
different.
last part of the question.
Do it.
Is this really just a choose your own adventure on the PS3?
You know what?
No, it's like it's a pretty advanced storytelling device, considering that there are no game overs and
No game
you could technically let everyone die in the game and yet
That's
you
what I'm
still
doing.
get an ending.
That's
That's what I'm
true,
gonna do.
but
Yeah.
but here's the thing though.
I don't care about any of
Just
these.
to the basis
Yeah,
of the
see-
question, in many ways it is kind of a choose your own adventure, just with separate characters.
here's the thing,
because
though.
you are picking and choosing exactly what they're going to do, and whatever.
it's
one's
I
happening
got a
is
question
gonna
about
be
this.
what it
Can you
is.
start the game and then put down the controller and then watch a complete story?
I don't think so. 'Cause
No.
your
You
character
You miss
would
every
just be
quick time.
standing there.
Yeah, because
Like you'd actually have to like move forward and do
yeah,
stuff.
because
Okay.
according to David Cage, who's directing the game,
Yes.
like the only times in which they're going to have cutscenes are where there is absolutely no other opportunity for a character to interact with the story. So if
Gotcha.
they're going to develop something, it will be cutscene driven. And then the rest of it, you have to interact with the game.
Gotcha. All right, let's get on. Velvet Elvis with 2 V's and 2 E's says he's noticed that some games
Thank you very much.
go gold early before the release date. Why don't they get released early? If a game is not done and it gets pushed back, then it gets pushed back. So why don't they push forward a release date if it's
Damn
done early?
right.
Here's the thing: is a lot of games are set for coming out on X day. And then when they're done, you still have marketing, you still have, all these things set in stone to be coming out that day. You have your timing against other releases that you're releasing. You don't want to compete with yourself. Sometimes games come out early, but usually not. Usually they hold off because it's been in the master plan the whole time. And, that's
Can't
the
go
answer to that one.
against the master
Honestly,
plan.
the easiest way to point this out is Little Big Planet. Little Big Planet was gold all of a sudden they discovered a controversy or something,
Then
push
they
it back.
fix it. That's a very rare case. though.
It's a rare case,
Yeah.
but every now and then you might find like some random bug or some random situation
This is all very
cause
true.
you to push things back. Or
Black
push them
Mantle writes in and says, with the PSP sporting visuals very similar to that of the PS2, do you think that if and when Sony ever decides to go ahead with the PSP 2, that it would carry the same level of graphics as the PS3?
Nope.
Would it be possible?
Oh, God,
There's no way in hell. Now, here's the
Not
one
even
thing.
close.
The PSP's problem is that it's...
Nobody's developing for it.
Well, nobody's...
I'm just saying.
Here's
I'm
why-
not saying, but I'm saying.
Here's why I don't think people are developing for it. It's because it's too... There's too much stuff to do to make a game on the PSP right now.
It is unwieldy.
It's like you're making a 3D game, but you have to scale everything back.
Yes.
So people are used to making PS3 games or whatever. That's where they want to go. And you're not making a 2D game with touch stuff like you would on the DS, which you can make it much more simple games there, and you can make simpler games on the iPhone that are like 2D based and stuff like that. But with the PSP, you're like, well, I can make a 3D game. I'm basically making a portable PS2 game.
Right.
And but all of these games are ports from. Or knockoffs, if you will, of like PS3 and 360 games. You look at like driving games and stuff like that, and they're all really watered down and kind of tweaked and changed. And people are like, "Well, we have to get it out there, so we're basically going to do whatever, but it's not going to work right."
But
I'm saying that Sony should completely redo the way that they thought about the PSP,
Yep.
and not make it the PSP minor. They need to make it have a touchscreen or do something totally different with it.
You know what? I think that they could probably leave it as is, but as long as they actually start improving the memory stick capacity, because I think that there's a certain part where everybody's starting to focus on, okay, it's a PS2 game, but you've got the memory limitation of the UMD disk. But if you do a digital download where you can throw out however much you want to throw out,
Thank you.
and you just have the system like recorded on the like memory stick, then it can just process it by the PSP processing power, and you're not limited by a
Very
UMD
good.
disk.
Do this fast because we're running out of time.
We have plenty of time.
No, there's a maximum file time, I believe.
We
We'll
can
create
pause it
part
and start a
two.
new one. There you
Nah.
go.
All right, well, let's
Anyways,
hear
my
it.
thing is that you look at home, they replaced the PSP with some kind of weirdo touchscreen thing.
Yeah.
It could be nothing. I'm saying it might be something. What are you going to do? Nothing. Drop your pants.
Damn, son!
Drop your
Yeah,
pants.
boy! Yeah! The Great
Drop
118
your
writes in and says,
pants.
there's been some great games this year, but what are some of the most disappointing games of the year for you guys?
Oh, wow.
For me, I got to go with one of my disappointing games. Not saying it's the worst. I'm saying one game I'm very disappointed with was Mirror's Edge.
Yeah,
Oh.
I agree with that.
I didn't like it very much.
Well,
Mirror's Edge.
actually, I haven't played it, but I agree with the overall reception of it.
Yeah.
Mirror's Edge
Don't
is
count
cool.
that. Don't count
I'm
that.
also disappointed in Prince of Persia.
I am disappointed in
Pop.
Prince of Persia. I finished it. There you go. That's a good one.
Well, I like
Combat
Pop,
sucks.
but the biggest thing is that
I like
it feels like it's
Really?
way too easy. It feels like
I
it's
only played
like
it
there's
for a few
almost no
hours.
There you
challenge.
go.
to
That'll
it.
do it.
Yeah.
In the
The
beginning,
other
like I
Pops,
said, I liked
there
it a
was a
lot.
challenge.
Ryan, what are you disappointed in?
Eternal Poison.
Damn, son.
Really?
Did you really think it was going to be good?
No.
Yes, that's not disappointing.
That's not a disappointment though.
Right,
That's
Jeff,
a real disappointment.
Jeff, what are you disappointed in?
Like I said, I think Pop is one of those things. I think, surprisingly, Grand Theft Auto.
Man, that's...
No, I agree. I'll agree with that to an extent.
But let me explain
crap.
it.
Is there
Because
broken
I know that
glass
there's
at the
going to be
bottom of this?
emails and everything, but I think
Damn,
the
son.
part of it is that
Yes, there are.
the
There-
basis of it almost felt like I've been playing the exact same thing, and I've played it since the PC days. So
Yep.
part of it almost felt like it was the exact same development of the same mission structure, same plot structure, same everything else. And even though I loved exploring the city, and I did, there was still a point at which I was like, I've done this before.
I agree.
See,
San Andreas,
I
Vice
think that
City,
game was just
everything
so
else.
well done, and the story was so good, and the voice acting was so good that it was
I
a
agree
must
with
for me.
everything you said.
I'm not disagreeing with you on that. It's just
Yeah.
like I felt like there could have been an
You wanted
evolution
something
of
new.
something, and yet it just felt like it almost devolved into the exact same gameplay. And
If
that
you
was the
remem-
one thing that kind
If
of
you
just
remember,
held me
one
down.
day Roper had the sniffles, and I went with Hillary to play Grand Theft Auto at an event, and I left that thing saying, "Man, this feels a lot different. I'm really excited." I went over and talked to the guides people, and they were like, "Well, we hate Grand Theft Auto," and I explained to them why this one seemed cool. And when I got it, loved it. I don't
Yeah.
disagree that it's an awesome game. Should definitely be in the running for Game of the Year.
I agree.
However, by the end of it, I was like, "This is Grand Theft Auto.
This feels like Grand Theft Auto.
This doesn't feel different."
That's
to
the
me.
thing. Is like you almost want like the evolution, especially because it's like this is a realized Liberty City. Everything that San Andreas, like they learned from San Andreas, everything that you essentially could have there is there. But yet, the building blocks of what the Grand Theft Auto franchise is, you almost all of a sudden start seeing like past the curtain. It's like, like Wizard of Oz. It's like the man is behind the curtain, and you start seeing
Bastard.
like this is exactly how Grand Theft Auto is going to be. here you go.
Yeah, but
and
see,
that
here's
was,
my
part
thing.
of the
It's the game has gotten to the franchise. I mean, it has gotten to such a level where you're like, okay, here is a mob movie set in New York.
Yeah.
Now here's another mob movie set in New York. Has its own merits. You know, it's the mob and it's in New York, so you know you've seen all that before.
Yes.
But it's got a different story and all the stuff it's got its own things you latch onto and all that kind of stuff.
Yes.
Same thing here. It's like you know that it's a story about killing and there's violence and there's cussing and there's cool radio stations.
Again, yeah.
And you can drive cars, you can kill people. Same thing, but
have no problem
it's
with
done
that.
so well that
Yeah.
you know.
Oh, it's awesome. Yeah, we're not taking away
I think
from
that's
that.
the thing,
I know.
is that Greg and I are agreeing with that, but I think the part of it is that every now and then you almost all of a sudden go like, hey, this is going to be the driving mission. Hey,
Yeah.
this is going to be the stakeout mission.
That's true.
Hey,
I
this
mean,
is
real
going to be the
quick,
shooting
the
mission. And you
easiest
start
thing
to
is that-
automatically associate like, oh, it doesn't matter whether I'm talking to little Jacob or I'm talking to this guy. It's going to be this thing where it's like, I already did this in like GTA 3, Vice City, San Andreas, like Liberty City Stories, all these other things. You start picking up the mechanics, and it's like, I thought there was going to be an evolution.
The quickest
and
thing
in that
is
case,
that
it's not.
I mean, you look at
It's a minor quibble. It's
look
really a
at
minor
our
quibble.
2008 best of.
Yeah.
We say Grand Theft Auto is the best story. I stick by that.
Yeah.
100%. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I love Metal Gear. Jeff, you know that
Yeah.
I love the Metal Gear.
Yeah.
However, I've never I connected with Nico. Like
Yeah.
I love Nico's story, and I will never forget that at the very end when you have to make the choice. I remember driving 5 minutes one way, stopping the car, turning around, stopping the car. I couldn't decide what to do because you're weighing the options in your head as the character.
Yeah.
It's not that you're weighing the options trying to figure out what's going to benefit you at the end. It's the end of the game.
You're
Whatever you
focusing
do.
more on Nico.
Totally,
And yeah,
totally.
and that I think is completely
That
valid.
was what won it for me. That's why I voted that way.
I think that's the thing, is that like we're not arguing one shouldn't be weighed over another. I think that
It was
what
an
we're
awesome
arguing
game.
Yeah.
is
Awesome,
more
awesome game.
mechanics. Is that we were we
I was
love the
expecting a
story, we
break
love
from the
all these other
formula.
things, but I think that we were hoping new ground would automatically be broken, considering all the depth that is.
Roper, what time
included.
is it? How close are we?
We're at an hour right now. We just cost it an hour.
Then let's break it because he's got like 11 minutes left. Is it like 11?
We will start.
Yeah.
Pause it
section
and then
2.
start a new one, and Ryan can put
Section
it together.
2, and
We'll
Brian
keep-
can finish all
we'll-
four
we'll
of the mojitos
We'll
in front
keep
of
going.
him.
We'll keep going with the mail. Then we'll start part 2.
We're to mail?
All right, I just want to make sure we're not
All right.
rushed.
No,
I'm
yeah.
having a good
All right.
time for a change.
'Cause I got
this
a
show
couple
is
things
living
too.
in hell usually.
I got a couple things too. So here we go.
All right, let's get on. Let's get on with the reader mail. The next question
mail?
is: what were your impressions of the God of War 3 gameplay trailer? Does it seem like the franchise has progressed all that much?
I'm excited for God of War 3, and I'm not a big fan of God of War or God of War 2.
You know what?
I'm not excited at all.
I know.
I'm somewhere in the middle. Like, I like exactly what they're showing,
Yeah.
but I think that was not the best trailer to show.
Here's
Especially
my
based
thing.
off of what Jaffe has put out there, and especially because what he has said is also like, that is not what I saw. What we saw was essentially almost like a 2.5 version of the PlayStation 2.
All right, now here's the thing. I am the biggest God of War fan in the room.
It's true.
That's guaranteed. And I've played the games to death. I can tell you what's going on here. I can tell you what they have done and haven't done in the trailer that I'm worried about and whatever else. I wrote the hope.
Yeah,
the
you did.
wish
You
list
wrote
feature the other
the
day.
feature.
You can read through that thing and you can kind of get my opinion on it based on that.
PS3.IGN.com.
Here's the thing: is that in the trailer, well, half of what makes God of War, the first two games, and Chains of Olympus as well, so good were the environments that you were in. They're massive, and you're running through these places, and they made them look like they'd been there for millions of years or whatever, and and all that was really well done. Or,
The scale was
millions
epic.
of years in the case of the Earth, and hundreds of thousands in case of the buildings that they carved out of it. But
The scale
anyway,
was epic.
Yeah, the scale was epic. All that. The trailer they show, all the camera shots look to be intentionally low or cut to where you can't really see the environments at all.
Backgrounds,
Right.
yeah.
All
Yeah,
you're seeing are the characters on the screen, not seeing that kind of stuff.
Right.
To me, this feels like a thing where Sony said, we need to show the game, but Santa Monica's like, we're not ready yet. We're not ready to show off. Like maybe the lighting wasn't ready for the environments or something, right? So they're not ready to do that yet. And so they kind of had to say, well, we need to do it this way. We can show action. We can show this kind of stuff happening. So you're not really seeing half of the game right there. All you're seeing are kills that Kratos is doing, and it seems like almost all of those are just cutscenes that are happening. Things you watch that happens in the game, whatever. It's not actual. It's gameplay, but that's not one of the moments you're controlling the buttons.
Yeah.
Right.
So I think you're missing a lot from that trailer. And one of my concerns with it is that. And one of the reasons that I love the game so much and that I like Kratos as a character, even though he's pretty. He's a little. Yeah, there's a little bit of depth there.
I am angry, and I will have sex with these two women.
Yeah,
and then I will kill stuff.
Now, if you play through Chains of Olympus, you'll see stuff towards the end, especially that starts like chiming into like his character and stuff like that. And you see some pretty cool things.
He finds that puppy who's hurt.
Yeah, and then he
back to health off his
pulls the splinter out of his foot.
Right.
I don't even remember where I was going with that. That didn't make any sense. Anyway, but one of my things is that Kratos, as the character you're controlling in combat and the way they present him most of the time, one of the things I like about him, the franchise, so much is that Kratos is the badass part of the equation, and it's not the weapons that he's carrying.
Right.
It's not that he picks up a rocket launcher, now he's got a rocket launcher,
it's
not
how
doing
he
anything.
winds up doing it.
And in the trailer, they show him with the gauntlets and stuff, and they show him with all these different weapons, and I'm like, that's not, focusing on gauntlets is not Kratos. So I really want them to have, the Blades of Chaos, Blades of Athena, whatever he's got this time around, are the focus, and that it's Kratos and the blades is the thing, and the weapons are a distraction or whatever, puzzle device, whatever, if you want to use those. But if Kratos plus the blades gets overshadowed by all the weapons you're supposed to use, and they basically really encourage you to use different weapons, I'm going to be very disappointed in the game.
True, but I think that's one of the reasons why I was saying is like it almost felt like it was 2.5 because I think the one section that they actually showed within the trailer, which was like
Ryan's going to pee.
Ryan hasn't had anything. He's going to pee.
Champagne.
Oh, come on. Like I think the thing that kind of stood out to me was like they have the section where he's going up against the Centaur, which I was really eager to see.
What was that, buddy?
You haven't really seen the Centaur within like a God of War game, and then they showed it, and part of it was like it was just the wall bounce, and I was like, okay, but if it happens to be off of God of War 2 or even Chains of Olympus, where you've got like Persephone, Underworld, like Titans versus gods, all these other like epic. Greek mythology things, the only thing that you're really seeing is kind of like these gauntlets and something that almost feels like a QuickTime event.
See,
and it doesn't feel like it develops Kratos in his
Here's my
glory.
thing, and I'll say this again. I think your points are no, I'm not gonna, I don't want to say invalid, but I think that they don't really apply here because I don't think we've seen anything yet. I don't think that shows anything from the game. I think my concern is that it hints at what we might be seeing later, and that might be bad.
But that's what I was saying, is that I don't think that it really shows Kratos in his glory of everything else. It feels like we know that he can do a badass thing about bouncing off a wall, ripping his blade off, and like cutting some centaur's
that's all they wanted to show. So they said, we're going to show you the stuff that you would expect to see, and we're going to save other stuff for later.
Right. But that's the thing, is that like in a way, it almost felt a little underwhelming, because it's like, I know he can do that. I saw him rip the wings off a griffin. I saw him do this. It's like, once you actually have that bar raised with God of War 2 and Chains of Olympus, it's like, yeah, he can kill a herd of centaur. I don't care about that. He can kill like dryads and like sirens and all this other crap, and that's like a walk in the park for him. I want to see him kill a god like hand to hand UFC style.
We'll see that in the game, and they're not going to. So moving on, Stone Cold says
Stone Cold.
Now that Persona 4 is out, any news on Atlas localizing the new Devil Summoner PS2 game that hit Japan a few months back?
Actually, there is no comment on that.
Oh, no comment.
Like there are a couple things afoot. Can't talk about them yet. Ooh. 2009, there's going to be a couple of very interesting things coming out of Atlas. That's all I can really say about that.
Espionage writes in. He says, "What game in the coming year do you think will sell PS3 systems?" God of War is one.
Yeah.
God of War.
Uncharted 2.
Uncharted 2.
I think Uncharted 1. Yeah, maybe. Oh, yeah, probably. I think Uncharted 1 was probably one of those games that put people to where they said, hey, this helps give me reason to get a PS3, but it's not the quite reason yet. Mm-hmm. And I think now that everybody and Uncharted 2 got so much love over when it was out, but some people might have been like, well, I'll get that at some point, but I'm not going to get the PS3 yet. Right. Now that all that's happened, you have the precedent from how good Uncharted 1 is and everybody loves it. Yeah. Now when 2 is coming out and how good that game looks, it looks absolutely amazing. When people are when it's coming to release time, people are finally going to say, if they don't have a PS3, they're going to say, this is what I got to get it for.
Right.
And I think Uncharted 2 really, I mean, Gran Turismo, if that comes out next year, that's going to be a big system seller. God of War 3 is going to be a lot.
I think a secondary one totally will be Infamous. I know you said we're going to talk about this eventually in questions, but I went and saw it on Monday, and it looks awesome.
Well, that's I think 2009. Like even though we were talking about 2008 as a huge year for PS3.
And it was.
And I'm not like slagging on that. 2009 has got some games that PS3 owners are going to go, wow.
That's what I'm going to do.
Outside of Greg Murphy. Because, I mean, the very beginning, I mean, like, even February. Just look at February. Fear. Street Fighter 4, Killzone 2, Bionic Commando. Like, there's at least 4 games there within the space of Godfather 2.
Now here's the thing.
There's 5 games there.
This is leading into the next question. This is the last reader mail question of the day. Before we cut this thing in half, basically, and then finish up.
Too,
all right. Well,
anyway.
All right. So the last one is Jeff. How did the PS3 version of Resident Evil 5 run, look, and play when you played at the Capcom event? And then the second part was, Craig just mentioned this, which we'll skip to this part, is when do you think we'll hear more about Infamous? Have you guys got to play it recently?
Jeff, you want to go first or you want me to?
Well, you just mentioned this. You might as well fill it
My
out.
thing is, I went up, I was lucky enough to go up to Seattle on Monday and play Infamous, and you will read all about it tomorrow on Friday.
Oh, snap.
I'm the first human being outside of Sucker Punch to play it, which isn't a feather in my cap or anything, just telling you that this is an awesome preview you need to read. Here's the thing about, I think, previews with IGN a lot.
Where can you find that? Where can you find that?
PS3.ign.com. I'm pretty sure it'll be on IGN.com in general. However, the thing about these games when we play is that, a lot of times developers are very strict. They sit you down in E3, they sit you down here, they say, here's what you're going to play, they talk over it, tell you to do this, blah, blah, blah. And then when the review comes out, we're like, well, it didn't come together like we expected it to. We get comments all the time saying, you guys said this game would be awesome.
And now it sucks.
Why are you hyping every...
It's because we were specifically walked through exactly what they wanted us to see.
What to play and blah, blah, blah.
In my 2 years with the video game industry, which isn't a lot, granted, this was the greatest demo I've ever had. They walked me into a room, sat me down, put the controller in my hand, and there was a whole bunch of people from Sucker Punch, and they said, hey, here's the game, blah, blah, blah. We're all going to leave. We're going to leave you the game director. If you have any questions, ask him. If not, don't worry about it.
That is a strong statement, my friend.
I sat in silence, played the game from, I got all the story mode, got the tutorial, went through, killed a whole bunch of people, did a whole bunch of crazy stuff, and then at the end of it, when I was done with that mission, they said, all right, now we're going to do it again, but we're going to talk to you and point stuff out, blah, blah. Awesome. One of the best ideas I've ever been through. I'm telling you right now that on Friday, tomorrow, I will say that Infamous is awesome. And I cannot... I've already talked about it on the show before. It's one of my most anticipated games, 2009. It has leapfrogged Ghostbusters. It has leapfrogged Patapon 2.
Whoa. Yeah. Pull the parking brake. It has leapfrogged Ghostbusters?
I'm not...
Greg Miller.
This is one of those games that...
Glen Ellen, Illinois. It has leaped... It is leapfrog Ghostbusters.
Yes. I cannot wait for this game. It is amazing. It looks great. It's one of those things that looks
details
awesome.
Will have to wait till tomorrow.
Wow. Of course, yeah. I'm not saying about all the awesome powers.
Really, what could happen is you could actually turn around and say it sucks tomorrow. This could be a big lie. So really, tomorrow you should read to find out if it's actually good or not.
That's true.
If when I review this game, or Roper does, if I lose the arm wrestling match,
speaking of which, hold on, that's coming up.
If it turns out to be bad, I will be as angry as anyone else because I think this game looks awesome.
All right, tag me. I'm on the top rope.
Jeff, now you answered the first part. PS3 version of Resident Evil.
Resident Evil 5, I went to the event. I played both the 360 and the PS3 versions. Both of them look extremely good. The one difference that some people might wind up picking up is that the 360 version seems to have a slightly more stable frame rate, but the PS3 version loads faster than the 360 version does independently. Now, one of the other questions that some of the guys on the board said was it as scary as Resident Evil 4 or some of the other games? No, I don't necessarily find Resident Evil 5 scary. In some cases, I find it more to be like Res Evil 4.5.
Exactly.
It feels almost exactly like you have Leon going through something, but instead of Leon, it's Chris and Sheva. And that's the only difference. But as far as action is concerned, it's fast-paced, it's cool, it's a lot of fun. Visually, they're almost exactly the same. The only difference right now that I could see within the preview builds is that of the frame rate. Otherwise, they're visually almost identical.
I look at this game and I see Resident Evil 4, and by the end of Resident Evil 4, I was so sick of it.
Yeah, I never finished it. I got to like chapter 5-2 or whatever.
Here's the thing: everyone in the room, everyone on the online knows that I love zombie stuff. Yep. Love it. It's my favorite movie genre. However, I've never gotten into Resident Evil because of tank controls, and I thought Resident Evil 4 was the same way.
You know what? I actually stayed up and played a ton of Resident Evil 4. Resident Evil 5 feels like Resident Evil 4 to me. The only difference is having a secondary character.
Pwned, not playing.
But having said that, having Sheva there and having a lot of the other things, and I mentioned this in my preview or my impressions that I put up yesterday. there is definitely something there. There's a lot of things that you can do with the secondary character, and it is a lot of fun.
I didn't even get that.
All right. Let's cut the show right here. We'll come back to part 2.
I gotta pee.
If we we'll take a 5-minute break. We'll come back to the show. If need be, in case these don't post together correctly, maybe we'll have a part 2 and it'll be a separate file.
They'll post
Hopefully they should go together and she'll be seamless to you. But just in case, here's the breaks happen. We'll be back in.
I'm gonna say
zero time to you. But
I'm gonna say beyond, and then when we come back, I'll say dawned.
Okay.
Beyond.
Beyond. So here's part 2. Hopefully you guys can get this part easily.
Of our fabulous, fantastical variety show.
I won't lie. This is the greatest podcast Beyond of all time.
Beyond?
Right. So now we're in the end parts of the show, which I think is some exciting bits here.
We're pulling some of that shizzle for rizzle dizzle.
First off, we're going to get to Greg's part, which I'm not really sure what's going to happen here.
Don't ruin it yet.
But hold up, because I got a few emails.
You got a few more emails to add on.
It's just a few more.
Let's
just
hear
a
it.
slight tag.
Okay.
Number 1.
Little Baller?
Jonathan Huey.
Who is not Little Baller?
No. His name, according to his email, is Johnny Blaze, which he misspelled, of course, being a Ghost Rider fan. Mentioned that the only request I had was for Ryan to finish all 5 drunken podcast submissions.
Come on, Ryan.
Within the podcast time. I'd like to hear him get drunk enough to hit on Solius and tell us all how awesome he is for doing so. And yet...
That's Solius.
And yet, Johnny Blaze... Ryan has only had like maybe a quarter of his mojito.
That is a Smirnoff Ice.
Stopped on the, oh wait, that was the Smirnoff Ice.
Yeah.
He stopped. I'd probably say a sixth of the way through his mojito.
Yeah.
So,
Would you want to finish those?
You know what?
I'll admit they're not good.
I will admit that they're not good, but
I totally
would find a
appreciate
reason
this.
to actually drink.
Now, is Johnny Blaze the guy who actually sent them?
I will hand you the email.
That sounds
Let me
somewhat
check this
familiar.
out.
That
Now-
sounds
There we go.
somewhat familiar.
Email number 2.
Okay.
Unfortunately, Lil Baller could not give us a straight up update. However,
Straight up update.
Lil Baller did say, "Hey guys, Beyond.
Beyond.
Woo! I just wanted to touch base. We have a game tomorrow night against Lycoming University, and I wasn't sure if y'all would receive my email after the game in time for the podcast. So I didn't want to leave y'all hanging. But I'll write back after the game tomorrow and let y'all know how we did. Wish us luck. Beyond! Thanks.
Little Baller.
Thanks, Lil Baller, a.k.a. Big Baller PS3 Beyond. What?
7.
I do want to say.
Yeah, boy!
I do want to say.
What
I
you got?
definitely appreciate the sentiment of this guy sending us in all these drinks.
Hey,
it's very
yeah.
nice.
Lil
Let's hear
Baller
it.
is
I
awesome.
no, I'm not talking about Little Baller because I don't think he's the same guy. Even though Little Baller
I do
is
like
awesome.
Little Baller, yeah.
Yeah, but the guy who sent us in all these drinks, awesome guy, very
Yes.
kind. Just because I don't like the drinks does not mean that I do not
It
appreciate
means
the
you're a horrible
sentiment.
human being.
Oh, snaps.
Yeah, you're right.
Now, wait. The last email that I happen to have in my personal queue is from our Beyond runner,
Yes, Beyond
David Walters. We've got our Beyond Chariots of Fire runner, David Walters. Now, he decided to give us an update on his 15K. What up, Podcast Beyond? Beyond! The mountain run is done. Finally, I finished the run in 1 hour, 43 minutes, and 27 seconds. Not bad, considering that the course was unofficially extended from a 15K to a 17K because one of the hills was deemed as unsafe to run down. That's pretty impressive. Seriously.
I don't know running times at all, so
Well,
sure.
If you're adding an extra 2,000 kilometers on something that you're not planning, and you manage to
2
run
kilometers, not 2,000
2,000
or-
kilometers.
yeah,
You're running across the earth.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't understand how British time works.
No.
I don't know. I don't really know.
Okay, never mind.
British time.
If you manage to run an extra 2 kilometers and yet still doing the 15K in 1 hour, 43 minutes, 27 seconds, that's a really good time. I mean, that's pretty impressive. Anyway, he's proud of his results, finishing 6th in his age group and in the top 100 for the men.
Wow.
Even with the finish, he feels he can still improve in some ways, especially when a 73-year-old man passed him on the last hill like he was standing still. Now, he did pass him on the final stretch, thankfully, and managed to win out over him, as you can see in the results. Congrats to him, but he could just not have that in his mind, having a 73-year-old man beat him. Could you? Anyway.
I'd be okay with it. It's kind of cool.
Anyway, David
I'm out
had
of shape. Yeah, I can see you.
David had 2 questions for all of us.
Let's hear it.
1, what do you guys do for your holidays, and what is your best video game Christmas memory? Along with the missus,
I like this story.
He'll be heading back to his original home, Philly, to see the family and also his brother, who listens to Beyond.
Beyond, brother, Beyond.
As for his Christmas memory, it's actually a few days before Christmas when his brother called to tell him that he had received a PS2 shipment at Toys R Us where he'd worked.
Aww.
Unfortunately, David had been caught between a rock and a hard place. Let's get a little violin here. After not taking much time to think about it, he abruptly... he was out on a date with a new girl. A new girl, PS2, he was out on that date. After not taking much time to think about it, he stopped the date and drove her home. He couldn't think of an excuse, so he was honest and said, I was getting a PS2. I knew the relationship was destined to fail when I received a lecture during the drive home about growing up and getting my priorities straight. But I was also in college and 20 at the time. Can you blame me? Needless to say, we eventually broke up and also received the same lecture. So I've realized that girls may come and go, but a PlayStation lasts a lot longer. Thank God my wife enjoys video games. Well, at least Rock Band and Guitar Hero, which, hell, that's all you can really deal with.
Roper, what's your best Christmas memory?
Sorry if this email is so long. I'll check in again before the race and keep you posted on his progress. On February 1st, he will run for Beyond.
Very
Beyond!
Good.
Beyond!
There were two parts to this question, right? There was something and then Christmas memory.
What do you guys do for your holidays? And what's your best video game holiday Christmas memory?
Okay,
and
so
he also wishes us Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and most importantly, Beyond. That's from David.
Happy Hanukkah, everybody.
For my holidays
Kwanzaa.
this year, I'm staying home. We got the little one. She's a little over a year now, and my parents coming out on Christmas Day, so that's nice. My greatest holiday memory, Christmas memory, was whatever year this came out. Somehow, my mom actually got me Super Mario Brothers 2 when it came out.
Wow.
And that year, I don't know how many of you people were buying games at this point or whatever, but there are stories of mothers and parents fighting over each other to get a copy of this game at the store because they're so limited and everybody wanted to buy it and all that kind of crap. And so when I got up, I opened my present that morning and I saw that it had Super Mario Brothers 2, I was like, yes, Super Mario Brothers 2.
Yeah.
Awesome. So the game wasn't all
Jeff,
great,
what's your twofold answer?
Ooh. Well, this year I'm actually staying here.
Damn right.
I'm not doing the Hawaii thing like I usually do. Holiday memory, that's a little tricky because you guys know I hate my parents.
I do?
So, yes. No, I've mentioned this in the office many a time.
Really?
Yes.
Where have I been?
I have no idea. Maybe you were drinking.
Come here.
I don't need to hug it out.
You're getting it.
I do not need to hug it out. Greg.
There's hugging going
Greg,
on.
do not lick my neck.
Hold on. This
Greg.
is my mic on Jeff's shirt hugging
Greg, don't lick my neck. Stop it. Stop it.
That just happened.
You give me a funny feeling. No,
it's cool. It's cool.
But
I like your hugs, Greg.
I think maybe one of the best holiday memories that I have is possibly sneaking out of the house and going over to a friend's house and playing on my friend's Genesis, and he just managed to get a brand new one. So but the funny thing is he managed to get convince his parents to get a large number of games. So it was we wound up playing Altered Beast and Sword of Vermilion and Herzog Zwei and
Rise from your grave.
It was Altered Beast, Alex Kidd, Herzog Zwei, and Sword of Vermilion and Phantasy Star. And we wound up playing that thing for multiple days straight.
You put Jurassic Park in there, that's a winner.
Greg, what do you got?
About that.
For the holidays this year, Katie and I are going nowhere. I went to Chicago last week, as you remember, or 2 weeks ago. I was over in the feature. Katie is now a flight attendant, so she is basically, for her first month or two, she's on call, which basically means it's a terrible life. Where she, at 3 a.m.
She could always go anywhere.
At 3 a.m., they can give her a call and say you have to be at the airport in 2 hours. She has to go.
Exactly.
So I'll be playing a lot of video games. Like I said, I'll be doing Thursday. Christmas is Thursday.
Greggy's having a bachelor Christmas
Podcast
almost.
Beyond Christmas on home, whatever, in the General Plaza. However, my favorite holiday memory of all time, I'm assuming we're limiting this video games because we're all nerds. My favorite of all time was getting WWF Royal Rumble on the Sega Genesis.
Oh, snap.
And it was one of those games I had played a couple of weeks earlier at my friend's house and was in love with it because it was the first one where you could really do finishers. I remember Crush actually crushing a dude's head, and it was amazing. You could get out of the ring, blah, blah. It was amazing. And so I got this game, was so excited, put it down, kept opening presents. Then my cat Gizmo, yes, name for the Gremlins movie, came down at one point and vomited on top of the game. Yes. It was in his car. It was in the case, but still. It was awesome.
No, wait a second. Like who exactly was crushed? Because I don't know if I necessarily can pick up on.
Oh, he was crushed. I forget what. I don't think he was originally orange and purple, and then went on to be purple and black when he went heel. But his finisher was that he got behind the dude and crushed their heads at the temple, and they'd submit.
Ryan, what do you got?
Favorite memory is probably, man, I've gotten so many video games over the years, I don't really remember. But I do remember at one particular point when I was an N64 kid.
There you go.
My mom was generous enough to get me like 2 or 3 games, I think. And so I had them all stacked up, and it was just like the thought of having 3 new games at once.
Puzzles.
Like, it's not like you got them once and then there's like another one. No, these like 3 new games I could play. That was awesome. So that was my favorite memory. And for holidays, I'm going back to the East Coast. Buffalo, New York.
Back to Buffalo.
I have not seen my girlfriend in half a year.
You're going to freeze.
Crap.
Dude,
It's pretty intense.
Have you seen the weather report over there?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Like,
but I'm used to it.
I think earlier this morning it was like negative 15.
I still come to work in a T-shirt here in San Francisco when it's cold.
But that's because you grew up in Buffalo.
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
like it was like negative 15 with wind chill. It was like colder.
Yeah.
All right, getting on with the show. We got to wrap this thing up. PSN hit of the week.
This
we
is
got
epic.
anybody?
No.
I got it.
Okay.
There can only be one PSN hit of the week.
There can only be one.
Santa
the last
What
Santa
is it,
Claus.
the Highlander?
Ryan knew it.
The
Santa Claus.
Highlander of Santa Claus.
Somebody on the PSN has to be Santa
All
Claus.
one word under thingamajig.
Space and not.
CLAWS?
I'm saying it's all one word, but if you can find
Santa
something-
Claus.
has
I'm
to
sure
be
it
Santa.
exists.
Yeah. So Santa Claus PSN hit of the week. Hit him up. Tell him beyond.
Bill?
Tell him you were nice. You want those presents,
Yeah.
but.
Or tell them you're naughty, but exactly what you want to be for
Yeah.
being naughty.
Now, a couple
I'm
of
just
things
saying.
remaining here. A couple unknowns to the rest of the room about what's happening. The first one, I don't know what's going on here. Brand new special segment. Greg's kind of drunk and talking.
Oh,
Yeah,
what is this?
That was what I wrote it down with.
Are you
when
still drunk enough to do
I am
this?
definitely sobering up. This was a mistake, only having 12 beers.
We
and a
need
bottle of
more
champagne.
booze.
Yeah.
Greg,
I'm
you want a
disappointed.
mojito?
we did our duty.
We did it, Jeff.
We pounded
Done.
down a case of beer plus champagne, and yet
Nice.
we are sober.
Earlier in the day, we were talking about, hey, do we drink beforehand or afterhand? We hadn't checked the message. So
Sure.
I went and checked the Podcast Beyond comments. We were up to 46 on the episode. However, there were many good comments I thought we should respond to. Number 1 is from MRKNOBBE. Rukumanoob. Is it possible for Clements to say anything bad about Sony? He always
No.
sounds like the biggest fanboy ever.
Oh.
I think it would be hilarious if they put him on another team. Roper, can we trade him?
Oh,
Let's see. All right, let's go through the perspective.
Can we give him
prospects.
waivers?
So, all right.
I hear Levi.
On the Levi can't trade himself. That's the
That's
problem.
true.
So
He's
doesn't
only
count.
wireless.
On the PC side, we got the Canadian Charles.
Yeah.
Oh,
who
the
I
Canuck.
don't know if he counts in the trade thing because you have the regional
you know what?
rules.
I
So
think that I'd give him
it can
waivers
happen.
unless they gave us like a vat of poutine.
No, Charles would be a good
I
trade.
need
but
poutine, otherwise it's not.
Charles would be a great trade, but I think because he's
I don't know what's happening.
I think because he's Canadian, I don't think he counts
Okay.
in our division.
Really?
On the 360 side, you got Nate.
Well,
maybe free agent, but I'm not going to trade Ryan for him.
having
and then we
another
got,
dirty South. That's,
But then we got Ryan Geddes. He's made from lava. He might melt us all. We can't
That's
have
true.
2 people from Game Scoop on the same team.
True.
Because that would
yes.
that would be like crossing the streams. And then you got Eric
can't cross the
Budvig.
streams.
And exchanging executive editor for associate editor. I don't think Hillary would go with. Plus Hillary's a crotchety old bastard. I don't think he would make the trade in the first place. So
I thought the question was if I was traded to Sony, like the company.
no, I thought we were
No.
talking internal.
They
teams.
say another team.
Oh,
Yeah,
And then,
another
gotcha.
and then the other option is Nintendo, but yeah.
Yeah, otherwise
So-
we'd have to move over to
are
Insider, and then
stuck
it's
with
like
me.
Yeah,
you got
so no.
Clayman or Thompson, and that
Yeah,
one.
no. So we got Clayman, but Clayman's too.
Our next
Yeah,
one
that wouldn't
is
happen.
from Nav the Conqueror. He gave us all nicknames.
Let's hear
Roper,
it.
I'm interested to see what you think of all this. It's Podcast Beyond featuring Greg, the Thriller Miller. Ryan, the King of Cowardice Clements.
I remember this.
Oh,
Jeff,
snaps.
the heavy hitter Haynes. And then, to round it all out, Ryan, the Gladiator Geddes.
Yeah, I remember
Wait,
this.
what?
Yeah.
Aren't you the host?
Geddes?
Aren't you on every
I
show?
believe that I am. I don't believe that Ryan Geddes has ever been on
Geddes?
Podcast Beyond.
Bill? Wait, huh?
Yeah. I Hate Reading 369 says, haha, wow, I actually almost went to St. Pet's. It's actually called St. Petronell's, misspells it terribly, but instead I went to Hadley Junior High in Glen Ellen, Illinois. I still live here today and go to Glenbard West High School. Guess what? I Hate Reading 369, you suck. You should have gone to St. Petronell's, learned how to spell it. You should have gone to St. Francis High School, Wheaton, because Glenbard West sucks. Dump on the hump. What?
Oh snap!
Hey,
Greg is doing Midwest served.
there you go. Rockin' On says, "Thank you, Jeff, for telling it like it is. Home is horrendous."
Word.
There's
Ryan.
another really long email I won't read. That's
All right.
it. Greg's drunk
Ryan.
and talking.
Now, my last
Honestly.
bit before we wrap up the show with a
Oh
song
crap, my song's on that. Yeah,
is
give it back.
give me back the paper. Is so around here at
Hey,
Jam, we celebrate many holidays.
We do.
Yes.
We celebrate many holidays. Everybody, it's Christmas. We got a lot of Jewish people here who celebrate Hanukkah. We got a lot of things like that. But things like Hanukkah and Christmas and all these other things.
Yeah.
They're not for everybody.
No.
So one year, at one point, a very wise, very, very prosperous
I know where
man
this is going.
named Mr. Costanza came up with a holiday for the rest of us called Festivus. Now, one of the things that happens every year during Festivus is the feats of strength. I think that in order to probably round out the year, we should take part in feats of strength.
All right.
Now there was
have
a
to move all
poll.
these.
Had something to do with a poll. We don't have a poll in the room here.
We don't.
Wait,
have
there's
we, have,
Soleus.
we have the Soleus poll.
Yeah, but they're weak. They're weak sauce. So
that's true.
So here's what we're gonna do. We'll do a more classic feat of strength to see who I don't know a winner. I don't know if Festivus has winners.
Okay.
Whatever. This was never.
Everyone is a loser.
Yeah, there was never any clear rules to what the feats of strength are.
Wait.
Except to do the poll. What's that?
Before we do the feats of strength,
Oh God.
there was no community challenge. They pushed it back because of the holidays. Happy holidays from B786.
Thank you for interrupting me. So feats of strength. I'm going to leave this up to you guys. I'll present the two challenges, the very basic challenges, and then the two out of three votes will get it. Number one, push-ups. Who can do the most push-ups?
Oh, Christ.
Number two, arm wrestling challenge.
I think arm wrestling challenge is
I
much
could do
easier.
either.
You gotta
Push-ups.
pick
We
one
don't
of
have the
two.
room for push-ups.
Jeff, which one do you want?
I don't care.
We can do push-ups right over here. We move the chair. Which
Yeah.
one? Which
Well,
one do
how
we do?
long? What's the time period?
No, you just do it until you can't hold yourself up. You got to keep going. You can't stop.
No, I say
No?
hand.
You want to do arm wrestling?
Well, but then we'd have to clear every
it's
single one of these
quicker,
balls.
it's
No,
easier.
it'd be easy. All right, so here's what
The
we're going to do.
push-up thing isn't
We'll
that
do a
bad.
tournament.
Yeah,
Me and
push-ups
Jeff,
aren't that
you
bad.
and then winner goes.
and then, that's what we're going to do. All right,
Push-ups are not that bad.
all right, so we'll do the arm wrestling tournament. So right now, all right, round one is going to be Jeff and Greg.
Really? All right.
Jeff and
Take
Greg,
a photo.
and then Ryan and I will go, and then the winner will take it on, and then we'll see who has it.
You guys got to be careful.
You're doing
There's
the
like-
over-the-top version.
Just be
Damn
careful.
straight. That's the only way to do it.
All right, you can't hold the table. No,
I
holding
can't
the table.
hold the table?
You can't hold the table.
Oh my
Hold
God.
on, hold
And
on, hold on.
don't
Wait.
slide your elbow around.
Wait, there's like broken glass on the
Broken
bottom
glass,
of
of course
these
there
bottles.
is.
It'll be fine.
People
It's-
sit on the stage,
that's
they just
like-
don't care.
Looks like a penalty for Jeff in case he loses. All right.
Wait, how's there a
Wait,
penalty
let me
for
get a
me?
picture.
Why can't we
We're
hold
fine.
the table?
Let me get a picture.
How do I have a
All
penalty?
right. If you want to hold the table, then both of you have to go to
I'm
hold the
not
table.
holding the table.
Well,
All
do you
right.
not?
How's
are
there a
you-
penalty
Here's
for
the
me?
thing, Jeff. You have a bigger arm than me. Are you against me holding the table?
Jesus Christ.
You're not. I'm not gonna win.
Here, slide over to your side so you're a little more even than the table. Now both you can hold the table. Now you're good. All right, ready?
All right.
Yeah.
All right. 3, 2, 1, go.
Oh, God.
It's good.
God, Jeff struggles.
All right. Jeff wins round one.
All right, wait,
For a
Greg.
second,
Here,
I
Jeff,
thought
stand up for a second.
Greg,
For a second, I thought
I will give you that
Greg,
half
I
second.
think I took the best picture of you that's ever been taken.
Oh my God.
All right.
I will give you that half
That's
second.
pretty good. It's blurry. All right, Ryan, you and I, here we go.
Hold on. We're taking. I
Let's
gotta
move
get
over here to
ready.
the end. Ryan, you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready. This is going to be terrible.
All right. Somebody count it down.
3, 2, 1, go. Oh my God, that is not even an option.
All right, so I win that one.
Roper wins. It's Jeff Roper.
Me and Jeff.
Feats of
Wow.
strength.
Okay, this is
Jeff's
going
going
to
to
be
kill me on this one, but I'll take second place.
I don't even know if my headset will actually go that far.
Here, wait,
Play
all
it
right,
as
we'll just take it
lies.
off. Just take
Yeah,
it off.
that's
It's fine. We'll go over here. All right, you take his.
You want my
take-
seat? You want my seat?
Take Ryan's seat. I'm going to get killed on this one.
Oh, you're caught on my thing. There you go.
Jeff-
You almost kicked me in the
It's
face.
all
Jeff,
over.
Jeff is a little much bigger man than I am, so this one's probably going to go pretty fast, but let's see what happens.
Ready?
Ready?
Hey, you guys ready?
Yeah.
3, 2, 1.
No, he's holding for it. I'm gonna hold him.
Careful with
So
it.
I can do it.
Careful with it. Oh my God, Roper is intense with upper body
Jeff wants a
strength.
raise. Jeff wants a raise. Oh my God! Roper has won!
Festivus champion. I have done it.
Nice job.
Upset.
Nice
Festivus
job.
I don't
champion.
feel so bad for losing against Roper.
I still feel pretty
Festivus
bad.
champion.
You know what? I will let that happen because he's my boss. I'm not going to
Yeah,
actually
yeah.
go close.
All right. I didn't expect that one.
Dude,
that was exciting.
I'm not going to let you, I'm not going to beat you and, lose my job. That's not even going to happen.
No, I already said you were going to win, so it would have been fine. If I had said I'm going to kill you and then you beat me, that would have been a different story. But, anyway. All right. Greg.
The song's go. Oh, I said.
Fine, you can get it.
I keep saying. Why can't I stop saying?
Your Tourette's medication is wearing
all
off.
right?
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right, so it's
Did
been
you
a long.
mark that?
No, it's right at the end. Sir.
Whatever.
It's been a long time since we've done an actual song parody, which was how this all began, if you remember.
Right.
So now we're gonna do a little Christmas song here, and I'm gonna get into it. All right.
Let's hear it.
Dun, 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 dun. So this is Beyond. And what have you done? Dun, 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 dun. Another week older. Dun, 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 dun. And a new one just begun. Have a merry, merry Thursday.
Merry Thursday.
And a happy update. Let's hope it's a good one.
A good one.
Without any crap.